Chapter 2061. He is not an ordinary talisman master. Lin Moyu flew towards the entrance of the secret realm. Yu Chengfeng was initially stunned, then immediately said, "Follow him." The few members of the Yu family who were with him all followed his lead and immediately followed. The vortex at the entrance of the secret realm was extremely large, like a star, slowly rotating in the starry sky. Each rotation could absorb a vast amount of power. Lin Moyu stopped 10,000 meters away from the entrance of the secret realm. He could not get any closer. Before the secret realm opened, he could only come this far. Continuing to approach would be blocked by the power of the secret realm. Someone had tried to force their way in before, but without exception, they all failed. Lin Moyu naturally knew that forcing his way in was impossible. This was a rule set by the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. Not to mention a God Sovereign, even a Saint Sovereign would be helpless. There is still a layer of supreme between a Heavenly Lord and a Saint Sovereign, and the difference in strength between the two is immeasurable. A small trick of a Heavenly Lord is an unsolvable problem for a Saint Sovereign. Yu Chengfeng and the 7 others followed behind Lin Moyu without speaking. They didn't know what Lin Moyu was going to do, but they knew that Lin Moyu was full of mysteries and had many magical methods. Yu Chengfeng had a vague guess in his heart and couldn't help but show surprise in his eyes. Could it be that Mr. Lin has a way? Lin Moyu smiled slightly. "I will send you in." As he spoke, he lightly tapped his finger and began to draw a talisman on the spot. Since the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had specifically pointed out for him to come to the Wood God's secret realm, he naturally wouldn't let Lin Moyu wait for hundreds of years. No matter what state the secret realm was in, even if it hadn't manifested, the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord would have a way to let Lin Moyu in. Now, with 3 years left until the secret realm opens, and the secret realm has already manifested, it becomes even simpler. Lin Moyu followed the method left by the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord and drew a talisman that looked extremely complex. The talisman in Lin Moyu's hand shone brightly, looking beautiful and magnificent. Yu Chengfeng exclaimed, "I didn't expect Mr. Lin to be a talisman master." Lin Moyu said, "Just a casual study." Yu Chengfeng said, "Mr. Lin is too modest. The way of talismans is profound and vast. Although I don't understand it, I have come into contact with talisman masters, and they are not as skilled as Mr. Lin." Lin Moyu's method of drawing talismans was indeed not something an ordinary talisman master could compare to. That kind of natural flow, Yu Chengfeng could fully feel it. Lin Moyu activated the talisman, and the talisman immediately shot out a white light, crossing the 10,000 meters distance and shining on the vortex of the secret realm. The vortex of the secret realm roared, and its rotation speed suddenly increased significantly. The white light of the talisman turned into a passage. Lin Moyu said, "Go in." Yu Chengfeng did not hesitate at all. He waved his hand, "Quickly, go." The 6 people behind him immediately flew into the passage. At the same time, Yu Chengfeng cupped his hands towards Lin Moyu. "Thank you, Mr. Lin." Although he was the leader of the 7, he was the last to go in. Lin Moyu also entered the passage. After he went in, the passage closed and disappeared. This series of actions caught the attention of the God Sovereigns in the distance. How did they get in? Did the secret realm open early? Impossible. How could it open early? The Wood God's secret realm has been the same for so many years, it has never changed. Some didn't believe it and immediately flew to the front of the secret realm, only to be blocked by an invisible force 10,000 meters away. They could see that Lin Moyu and the others had already reached the entrance of the secret realm, while they were blocked outside. A group of God Sovereigns looked puzzled, unable to understand. "It should be Lin Moyu. I just saw him draw a talisman, and he used the talisman to open the passage. I didn't expect Lin Moyu to be a talisman master, but it's not surprising. The secret realm is originally related to talismans, and talisman masters have certain advantages. It seems that his ability to clear the secret realm is also related to his identity as a talisman master. I think it's not that simple. There are many talisman masters, but none of them can easily clear the secret realm." Among the God Sovereigns present, there was a talisman master. His eyes flickered, and he said in a low voice, "He is different from other talisman masters." Someone didn't understand. "What's different?" "He is the honorary president of our Talisman Master Association and has the grace of teaching us. All of us must respectfully call him Master Lin." As soon as these words came out, all the God Sovereigns present were in an uproar. It was not surprising that Lin Moyu was a talisman master. Many God Sovereigns had other identities. Among those present, there were artifact refiners, alchemists, and formation masters. But Lin Moyu was not only a talisman master but also the honorary president of the Talisman Master Association and had the grace of teaching talisman masters, being respectfully called Master Lin by them. This made a world of difference, indicating that Lin Moyu had reached the pinnacle in this path. A second-tier god sovereign who could reach the peak in the way of talismans was unimaginable. Many people didn't believe it, but they had to. The fact was that Lin Moyu used a talisman to open the way and directly reach the entrance of the secret realm, without waiting for the secret realm to open or for the competition to select. Yu Chengfeng and his 7 people, plus Lin Moyu, made a total of 8 people. Now, among Yu Chengfeng's 7 people, 3 were enveloped in a faint light and disappeared into the secret realm. Then, 3 more were enveloped in the same light and entered the secret realm. They saw Yu Chengfeng bow to Lin Moyu and then be enveloped in the light and enter the secret realm. Lin Moyu was the last to go in. After he went in, the secret realm returned to its usual state, still slowly rotating. Seeing them go in with their own eyes, someone suddenly said, "Do you think Lin Moyu will clear the secret realm again this time?" Difficult. His realm is too low. He can only enter the low-tier difficulty. It's impossible to clear it. I also think it's impossible, but he is Lin Moyu. It's hard to say. If he clears it, the secret realm will disappear, and the wood god flower will be gone. It doesn't matter. It only means that the wood god flower is not fated with us. I'm a bit conflicted. Let's just go with the flow. Some hoped Lin Moyu could clear it, while others didn't, fearing they would lose the wood god flower. Everyone had their own thoughts, but it had nothing to do with Lin Moyu. Inside the secret realm, birds sang, and flowers bloomed. Lin Moyu stood in a dense forest, looking at the warm sun overhead. The warm sunlight filtered through the leaves, forming beams of light, very beautiful. Because the secret realm had not officially opened, the Human Emperor Network had not released the corresponding tasks. As usual, Lin Moyu dispatched the skeleton generals to start exploring the secret realm. He indeed wanted to clear the secret realm. To obtain the core rune, he had to clear it. At the same time, he also wanted to obtain the 3rd inheritance left by the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. The first inheritance gave an ancient box, but I don't know what's inside. The second inheritance gave a talisman and a core rune, as well as the inheritance of the Starlight Law, which is very useful to me. I wonder what the 3rd inheritance will be. The way the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord cultivates successors is somewhat similar to the Star Spirit clan. As Heavenly Lords, they should know each other. The roar of beasts came from the dense forest, and the ground began to shake. The skeleton generals encountered enemies, and a battle broke out. Lin Moyu took a few steps to the battle site. By the time he arrived, the battle was over. In the dense forest, a large tree had fallen, and there were 2 beasts beside it. Both the tree and the beasts were formed by runes, belonging to rune beasts, plant-type rune beasts. After they died, they did not immediately turn into runes but dissipated into runes after a minute. Then, more skeleton generals encountered enemies, and the battle started suddenly and ended quickly. There were many rune beasts in the dense forest, and the battles continued. Chapter 2062. Chapter 2062. This thing looks like a spirit flower. Lin Moyu pondered the specific rules of the Wood God Secret Realm. The Wood God Secret Realm is extremely special. The same difficulty level can accommodate 1,000 people simultaneously. Moreover, these 1,000 people have the opportunity to encounter each other. However, encounters do not happen initially. One must first deal with their own wood god flower. In Lin Moyu's understanding, the entire secret realm, under the same difficulty level, is divided into countless independent areas. Everyone who enters is located in their own unique area, and at that time, they will not encounter each other. Then they need to find the wood god flower in their area. After eliminating the rune beasts guarding the wood god flower and obtaining the flower, they can move on to another area. At that time, they might encounter other cultivators. In the same area, the number of wood god flowers equals the number of people. Similarly, as the number of people increases, the difficulty also increases. When 2 people meet, the difficulty increases by about 3 times, requiring cooperation to have a higher chance of passing. The increase in difficulty is a disadvantage, but the advantage is that the grade of the wood god flower will improve. There was once a low-tier area where 4 people met, and the difficulty increased 6 or 7 times. There were 4 wood god flowers, but each flower reached a middle-tier grade. Fortunately, this secret realm is not very dangerous. If one finds themselves outmatched, they can use an escape talisman to leave. Currently, the highest record in the secret realm is a 3rd-tier god sovereign obtaining 5 low-tier wood god flowers in the low-tier difficulty. In the middle-tier difficulty, a 6th-tier god sovereign obtained 4 middle-tier wood god flowers. In the high-tier difficulty, a peak god sovereign obtained 4 high-tier wood god flowers. According to the information left by the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, Lin Moyu needs to pass through the secret realm 10 times consecutively, and it must be in the high-tier difficulty, obtaining 10 high-tier wood god flowers to receive the inheritance. But Lin Moyu is currently only a 2nd-tier god sovereign, entering the low-tier difficulty. For this, the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord also has corresponding rules. Lin Moyu can first obtain 10 low-tier wood god flowers to cross the difficulty level and enter the middle tier. Then, after obtaining 10 middle-tier wood god flowers, he can enter the high tier. Lin Moyu pondered all the details and muttered to himself, as expected of a talisman master, thinking so complexly. Making the secret realm so complicated, is it to show off? Lin Moyu felt a bit speechless towards the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, but since the rules were set, he could only follow them. If he ever had the chance to meet the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, he would definitely ask if this was fun. Of course, the premise is that the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord is still alive and hasn't died of old age. The secret realm is very large, with each area exceeding a diameter of 100,000 kilometers. The wood god flower itself is very small, reportedly only the size of a fist, and if hidden in the grass, it is easily missed. Searching for the wood god flower in the secret realm is like finding a needle in a haystack. Even for a god sovereign, it requires a lot of time. The skeleton generals searched for a while, reaching the edge of the secret realm without finding anything. Lin Moyu ordered them to conduct a carpet search. Lin Moyu considered using the explosive luck technique to randomly choose a direction but decided against it. If possible, he didn't want to rely too much on the explosive luck technique. Runes have their own operational rules, even the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord cannot completely defy these rules. His rules can change the rules to a certain extent, but here, there's no need to do so. The rules of the runes. Lin Moyu pondered for a moment and noticed something unusual. After the rune beasts died, their bodies seemed to point in the same direction. Whether it was plant-type rune beasts or animal-type rune beasts, once killed, they all pointed in the same direction. Lin Moyu immediately knew where he should go. The skeleton generals were faster than him, advancing in the direction indicated by the bodies. Along the way, they encountered many rune beasts. After traveling tens of thousands of kilometers, they suddenly found that the direction indicated by a dead rune beast had changed, pointing in the opposite direction. We've gone too far. Lin Moyu immediately realized he had overshot and began to backtrack. At the same time, the skeleton generals found another rune beast nearby, killed it, and based on the direction indicated by the dead rune beast, drew a straight line in their minds. At the intersection of the straight lines was the location of the wood god flower. It was a half-meter-high boulder, surrounded by grass. Under the boulder, there was an inconspicuous depression, and the wood god flower was inside. The wood god flower was only half a palm high, a small and delicate flower, hidden under the stone and covered by grass, so it was normal for the skeleton generals to miss it. Lin Moyu reached out and picked the wood god flower. As for its guardian rune beast, it had already been killed by the skeleton generals. Lin Moyu couldn't tell which one it was. Anyway, he killed every one he encountered along the way, not bothering to distinguish who was who. The wood god flower had only 3 petals, was entirely white, and emitted a faint fragrance, which was very pleasant. Just by smelling the fragrance, Lin Moyu felt his soul become a bit more comfortable. But Lin Moyu also found it strange. This wood god flower seemed familiar, as if he had seen it somewhere before. Suddenly, he remembered where he had seen Ida in his soul world. On the branches of the world tree, there were spirit flowers in bud, and the wood god flower looked exactly like the spirit flowers. How can this be? Lin Moyu was surprised and puzzled. He knew the origin of the wood god flower, which was undoubtedly created by the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. A Heavenly Lord can create life, so making some flowers and plants is normal. But why did the wood god flower look exactly like the spirit flowers? Is it a coincidence? Lin Moyu couldn't figure it out for a moment. This question could probably only be answered by the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. He put away the wood god flower and waited quietly for 10 seconds. From the place where the wood god flower was originally planted, a stream of light flew out, forming a portal in the air. Lin Moyu entered the portal directly, heading to another area. He could act without any scruples here, as he wouldn't encounter anyone else. With the experience from the first time, Lin Moyu became more adept at finding the wood god flower. He didn't even need the skeleton generals to explore the map, he just needed to kill the rune beasts and follow the direction they pointed. In the low-tier secret realm, the strength of the rune beasts was only at the first to third tiers of the god sovereign level, which was completely one-sided for Lin Moyu. The skeleton generals could kill dozens or hundreds with a single strike. Soon, the second, third, one by one, the wood god flowers were found. The so-called guardian rune beasts were only slightly stronger than ordinary rune beasts and were still easily killed by the skeleton generals. In just half a day, Lin Moyu had collected 10 wood god flowers. But after obtaining 10 wood god flowers, there was no movement. The secret realm was quiet, and there was no entrance to the next area. Didn't they say that 10 wood god flowers would allow crossing the difficulty level? Lin Moyu was puzzled. After thinking for a moment, he took out all 10 wood god flowers. The 10 wood god flowers floated in the air, emitting a refreshing fragrance. The fragrance gradually became stronger, and the 10 wood god flowers began to move closer to each other, connected by the fragrance. Lin Moyu suddenly realized, so that's how it is. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord really has many tricks. Chapter 2063. Chapter 2063. Finding the right method. The 10 wood god flowers merged into one, transforming into a brand new wood god flower. Its size increased by about 50%, and the petals grew from 3 to 6. The color also became more crystalline and full of texture. The 6 petals indicated that it had evolved from a low-tier wood god flower to a middle-tier wood god flower, with enhanced effects. Lin Moyu increasingly felt that it resembled the spirit flowers on the world tree. The world tree had countless spirit flowers, and a few of the faster-growing ones had already taken shape, looking very similar to the wood god flower. After the wood god flowers merged, the fragrance became stronger, and a beam of light shot out from the flower. A portal appeared in the sky, transparent and revealing another world. Lin Moyu held the wood god flower and flew into the portal, crossing the difficulty level and entering the middle-tier difficulty. Since the appearance of the wood god secret realm, no one had ever accomplished the feat of crossing difficulty levels. As one's cultivation realm increases, it becomes increasingly difficult to fight across levels. Some god sovereigns at the 3rd tier find it challenging to challenge those at the 4th tier, let alone fight against those at the 5th tier. Lin Moyu was an anomaly among anomalies. When he obtained the 10th wood god flower, the strength of the rune beasts had already increased to the 5th tier of the god sovereign level. Moreover, the number of rune beasts in that area was extremely high, making it almost impossible for ordinary god sovereigns to make any progress. From this perspective, the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had very high requirements for his successor, and ordinary people simply did not meet his standards. The scene before him changed, and the sound of rushing water entered his ears. Lin Moyu saw a waterfall, over 10,000 meters high, very majestic, with turbulent water crashing down from the sky, creating countless waves. Lin Moyu followed the water flow with his eyes. The water split into 3 branches not far away, flowing into different areas. On both sides were high mountains, seemingly connecting heaven and earth, with no end in sight. This is a canyon. Lin Moyu looked around and realized he was in a canyon. The canyon was vast and densely forested. A skeleton general flew upwards but hit an invisible wall after 1,000 meters, unable to continue flying. It had reached the top. The secret realm limited the flight height. 1,000 meters was not enough to fly above the canyon to survey the terrain. Lin Moyu decided to use the old method, having the skeleton generals scout the way. I wonder if the method of using rune beasts to guide the way has changed. Given the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's style, the same method is unlikely to be used twice. The skeleton generals soon encountered rune beasts. In the middle tier difficulty, the weakest rune beasts were at the 4th tier of the god sovereign level. If there were enough of them, they could give god sovereigns a headache. But encountering Lin Moyu was their misfortune. Under the swords of the skeleton generals, the rune beasts were killed one after another. After death, the rune beasts instantly turned into runes and dissipated, leaving no corpses. Seeing this, Lin Moyu muttered to himself, I knew it would be like this. As he had guessed, the previous method was no longer useful. He had to find another way to locate the wood god flower. Other god sovereigns relied on luck, but Lin Moyu did not want to do so. He knew there must be a way to quickly pinpoint the location of the wood god flower, and he preferred to find the right method. This process was also a test of his observational skills. If he relied on luck and stumbled upon it, who knows what other tricks the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord might have up his sleeve. Lin Moyu believed that since the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had set it up this way, there must be a reason. The skeleton generals cleared the way ahead, and Lin Moyu followed the waterway, thinking about the solution. He observed various things around him, such as grass, leaves, and the orientation of rocks, all within his scope of observation. He couldn't find any common points from these things. This time, the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had hidden the clues more deeply, making them harder to discover. Soon, he reached the fork in the waterway, where it split into three, and the canyon also split into three. Lin Moyu now had to choose one of the three paths. The three canyons looked identical, with no differences. Even with his soul eye activated, Lin Moyu couldn't find any differences. With no clues, he finally chose the middle path. The skeleton generals split into three groups, each entering one of the canyons. There were many rune beasts in the canyon, and the skeleton generals killed their way through, quickly reaching the end. Lin Moyu searched carefully along the way but found nothing. In no time, he saw the exit and left the canyon. As he exited the canyon, it disappeared behind him. The sound of rushing water reached his ears again, and Lin Moyu found himself back at the waterfall, identical to the one he had seen before. I actually came back. Lin Moyu realized he had returned to the starting point and had to start over. This meant his previous choice was wrong, so he passed through the canyon and returned to the starting point. Let's try again. Even the number and location of the rune beasts hadn't changed. It was the same scene, the same taste, repeating the previous experience. This time, Lin Moyu chose the leftmost canyon. The situation in the canyon was the same as before, with no changes. He quickly passed through the canyon but did not find the wood god flower. For the third time, Lin Moyu appeared in front of the waterfall, feeling speechless. One more time, Lin Moyu was not one to give up easily and began his third journey through the canyon. Again, the same locations and the same number of rune beasts appeared, were killed, and reappeared, only to be killed again. He chose the rightmost canyon and passed through it for the third time. In no time, Lin Moyu found himself back at the waterfall, still without finding the wood god flower. 3 attempts all ended in failure, returning him to the starting point each time. Lin Moyu did not move but instead reflected on what had happened. 3 attempts with no results meant he had chosen incorrectly each time. Having chosen left, middle, and right, it meant that the correct path was different each time. No matter how many times he passed through, the probability of choosing correctly was always 1/3. 1/3 is not a low probability. Lin Moyu felt that with his luck, if it were truly 1/3, he could have guessed correctly. Failing 3 times made Lin Moyu realize that besides luck, there might be other factors. Perhaps the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had set up some conditions, and without meeting those conditions, any choice would be wrong. The more Lin Moyu thought about it, the more likely it seemed. Given the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's quirky personality, such a setup was not impossible. The condition for the low-tier difficulty was to find the wood god flower based on the direction of the rune beast's corpse. The trigger condition should be killing the rune beast. This condition is almost non-existent, so it can be achieved by luck. The condition for the middle-tier difficulty is still unknown, but according to the Human Emperor Network's data, those who obtained the wood god flower spent a lot of time. Based on this reasoning, as long as I keep passing through the canyon, as long as the number of attempts is enough or the time is sufficient, I can also obtain the wood god flower. Time or the number of attempts should be one of the conditions. Lin Moyu thought about it and felt it should be time. His passing speed was fast, and the time it took for other god sovereigns to pass through once was enough for him to pass through several times. So the number of attempts could not be the condition, but time could be. But time was not the correct condition. Lin Moyu felt he should find the correct method before the time condition was met. He returned to the entrance of the canyon, looking at the 3 identical entrances, and fell into deep thought. The canyon and waterfall are new, but the dense forest was there before, so the conditions should be related to them. Besides the canyon and waterfall, there is also the water, and Chapter 2064. 2064. Chapter 2064. Lin Moyu hasn't come out yet. Lin Moyu realized that he had overlooked a detail. There was not only a waterfall and a clear river here but also the stones beneath the river. These stones were sharp on one side and smooth on the other. The sharp side pointed uniformly in one direction. Lin Moyu had previously overlooked this, thinking it was normal for stones to be in the water. But upon closer inspection, he noticed something unusual. The direction the stones pointed was too uniform. With the water flow, it was impossible for them to be so orderly. There would always be some differences among the stones. Moreover, this was not the real world but a world evolved from runes. The stones shouldn't have wear marks like in the real world. Lin Moyu followed the river and once again arrived at the fork in the canyon. This time, he noticed that after the river split into the canyon, the stones in the water disappeared. At this moment, all the stones pointed to the rightmost canyon, uniformly. Lin Moyu trusted his judgment and walked towards the rightmost canyon. He walked slowly, paying attention to the stones. When he was less than 3 meters from the rightmost canyon, just about to enter, the direction the stones pointed changed. The stones suddenly turned, pointing to the middle canyon. Sure enough, the correct path changes. If you can't find the stones, it's impossible to choose correctly just by luck. Unless you wait for the right time and rely on luck to get the wood god flower. Lin Moyu knew he had finally solved this puzzle. He walked towards the middle canyon, still paying attention to the stones. He wasn't sure if the stones would change direction again. Fortunately, this time they didn't change, and Lin Moyu entered the canyon. There were no more stones in the river to guide him, so Lin Moyu had the skeleton generals clear the way, killing everything in their path. He paid close attention to every detail in the canyon. The rune beasts and scenery in the canyon were identical to before, with no changes. In fact, the scenery in all 3 canyons was identical. Every blade of grass, every rock was in the same place. He reached the center of the canyon, where a large gray stone had a 6-petaled flower on it. Lin Moyu remembered this gray stone. It had been in all 3 canyons before. Such a conspicuous and unique stone was unforgettable after one glance. Previously, there was no wood god flower on this stone, but now there was, indicating that the wood god flower only appeared after choosing the correct path. Lin Moyu didn't rush to pick it. This time, he walked slowly, with the skeleton generals only a short distance ahead, not encountering any rune beasts guarding the wood god flower. Let's see what the guardian rune beast of the wood god flower looks like. As Lin Moyu approached the wood god flower, when he was 5 meters away, the river beside him exploded, and a water column shot into the sky. Accompanied by the unique hiss of a snake, a giant python covered in runes emerged from the river, charging straight at Lin Moyu. The guardian rune beast of the wood god flower was not weak, reaching the 5th tier of the god sovereign level, stronger than the rune beasts he had encountered along the way. Unfortunately, it faced the skeleton generals. The skeleton generals raised their bone swords and slashed out sword energy. After the white sword energy passed, the guardian rune beast dissipated into smoke. It seems that by the time I get the 10th wood god flower, the rune beasts should reach the high-tier god sovereign level. The rune beasts grew stronger each time, but they were only high-tier god sovereigns, not worth Lin Moyu's attention. He casually picked the wood god flower and walked out of the canyon. He saw the familiar waterfall, river, and stones again. Lin Moyu smiled, knowing he would go through the same experience 9 more times. Finding the correct path was no longer a problem. The next challenge was a test of combat strength. The last few times would require the ability to fight across levels, something ordinary god sovereigns couldn't achieve. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord set various thresholds to select a successor, but in Lin Moyu's view, this difficulty was not as high as the mysterious Star Secret Realm. He repeatedly walked the same path, doing the same things, and obtained 9 middle-tier wood god flowers. During these 9 times, Lin Moyu didn't encounter anyone else. According to the information, each choice seemed to be in the same area, but it actually led to different areas. The middle-tier difficulty, like the low-tier difficulty, was divided into countless areas, each identical. Some had encountered others in the middle-tier difficulty, and the difficulty increased upon meeting. However, there were only 7 people in the middle-tier difficulty, including Lin Moyu, so the chance of meeting was very low. By the 10th time, the rune beasts in the secret realm had reached the peak of the 6th tier of the god sovereign level, matching the strength of the skeleton generals. But in terms of numbers, the skeleton generals had an overwhelming advantage, still facing no pressure. According to this, the guardian rune beast of the wood god flower would break through the 6th tier of the god sovereign level, reaching the high-tier god sovereign level. Just as Lin Moyu had anticipated. Lin Moyu even judged the strength of the rune beasts in the high-tier difficulty based on the difficulty here. He guessed that they would eventually reach the half-step other shore level. To obtain the inheritance of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, one's realm couldn't exceed the peak of the God Sovereign level, and their true combat strength couldn't be lower than the half-step other shore level. Not lower than the half-step other shore level, but able to defeat the half-step other shore level. The difficulty is very high. There seem to be few in the human race who can achieve this. There were very few peak God Sovereigns who could reach the combat strength of the half-step other shore level. Even Zhu Qiwu in the past might not have achieved it. Zhu Qiwu had once fought against a half-step other shore level opponent, driving them away but at a cost to himself. Facing a half-step other shore level opponent, Zhu Qiwu was already a rare genius to survive. The vision of the ancient heavenly lords was indeed very high. Ordinary people couldn't catch their eye. Returning to the wood god flower, the river exploded with water droplets falling like rain. Having experienced this 9 times, Lin Moyu was used to it. Amidst the hissing of the rune beasts, the undying dragon knights silently charged out, surrounding them. Outside the secret realm, a god sovereign from the Yu family suddenly appeared. Someone has come out. His appearance attracted attention, and many people gathered to inquire about the situation. The Yu family god sovereign openly shared his experience in the secret realm. His experience was similar to the information on the Human Emperor network. He obtained 3 wood god flowers, not breaking the record but still achieving a good result. The god sovereigns in the divine city knew the Yu family and its powerful background, including Lady Yu. Even high-tier god sovereigns treated him with respect. Their main purpose in inquiring was to see if they had really entered the secret realm early and if there was any difference. It seemed there was no difference. It was the same as before. This confirmed that Lin Moyu was truly powerful. Being able to take them in had already exceeded the imagination of the god sovereigns. Then, one by one, the Yu family god sovereigns came out, each obtaining 3 wood god flowers, proving their strength. Yu Chengfeng was the last to come out, having entered the high-tier difficulty and obtained high-tier wood god flowers. When Yu Chengfeng entered, he was at the 8th tier of the god sovereign level, and when he came out, he had reached the 9th tier. He used the wood god flower in the secret realm to advance. After advancing, his strength increased significantly, and he obtained another wood god flower. Yu Chengfeng obtained a total of 4 high-tier wood god flowers, tying the highest record in the secret realm. Yu Chengfeng's strength was impressive, but suddenly someone noticed that Lin Moyu hadn't come out yet. Chapter 2065. Chapter 2065. The foolish method is unreliable. All 7 god sovereigns of the Yu family had come out, even Yu Chengfeng had come out, but Lin Moyu had not yet emerged. Lin Moyu's combat power made people wonder. Someone asked, "Senior Yu, do you think Lin Moyu can break the record?" Yu Chengfeng replied, "Breaking the record is inevitable. I think Mr. Lin is very likely to clear the entire secret realm." The god sovereigns were all astonished, not expecting Yu Chengfeng to have such a high evaluation of Lin Moyu. Moreover, he referred to Lin Moyu as Mr. Lin, with a tone of respect. For some reason, Yu Chengfeng had blind confidence in Lin Moyu, believing there was nothing Lin Moyu couldn't accomplish. Before entering the instance, Lin Moyu had said he would try to clear it. Yu Chengfeng chose to believe Lin Moyu. Since Lin Moyu said he would clear it, he surely would. In the secret realm, Lin Moyu stepped into the high-tier difficulty. He held a very special wood god flower in his hand, a flower with 10 petals. As everyone knows, the petals of the wood god flower are divided into 3, 6, and 9. A 10-petaled flower had never been seen before. At that time, he had fused 10 middle-tier wood god flowers, but it did not open the passage to the high-tier difficulty. Later, he took out the previously fused wood god flower, and the 2 already fused wood god flowers immediately underwent a second fusion, allowing him to cross the difficulty level again. After the second fusion, the wood god flower became what it is now, with 10 petals. Lin Moyu didn't care about these details. As long as he could cross the difficulty level, it was fine. The high-tier difficulty secret realm was full of flowers, grass, and trees, more vibrant than the low and middle-tier difficulties. Lin Moyu felt the difference. Although he knew it was all a falsehood brought by the evolution of runes, it seemed to reflect the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's pursuit of the way of runes. Lin Moyu felt the passage of time here. He could smell the scent of flowers and grass, both fragrant and decaying. The runes made the whole world more vivid, increasingly close to the real world. In previous secret realms, there was no sense of time. No matter how much time passed, everything remained new. But now, Lin Moyu not only smelled the scent of decay but also saw rotting tree roots. The holy talisman Heavenly Lord is pursuing life. He wants the runes to have real life. Unfortunately, he seems to have failed. Falsehood remains falsehood, unable to become reality. Perhaps his greatest ideal was to turn the ancient warriors into real living beings, but in the end, he failed. If there had been no invasion by the Black Blood realm, the holy talisman Heavenly Lord might have had a chance, but now. Lin Moyu speculated in his heart while carefully observing the changes in the surrounding environment. Based on his previous experiences, he knew that every detail in the secret realm could not be overlooked. Any special place could become a guide. Here, flowers, grass, and trees were everywhere on the ground, on both sides, and overhead. The flowers, grass, and trees overhead grew upside down, corresponding to those on the ground, creating a mirror-like illusion. But the upside-down flowers, grass, and trees were real. The omnipresent flowers, grass, and trees formed a true dense forest. Could it be that I'm in a huge cave? Lin Moyu did not dispatch the skeleton generals this time. He used the Death Dragon Knights. The Death Dragon Knights had just set out when they encountered the first wave of rune beasts, and a fierce battle ensued. The rune beasts here had all reached the 7th tier of the God Sovereign level, genuine high-tier God Sovereigns. Their bodies shone with runes, and the runes evolved into the power of rules. However, compared to the Death Dragon Knights, they were still inferior. The Death Dragon Knights had already reached the peak of the 7th tier, while these rune beasts had just reached the 7th tier. One-on-one, the Death Dragon Knights could defeat their opponents within 5 minutes, not to mention Lin Moyu's preference for group battles. Thousands of Death Dragon Knights bombarded the rune beasts. In the blink of an eye, the rune beasts turned to dust and runes, dissipating into the secret realm. The combat power displayed by the rune beasts was within his expectations. As long as there are no surprises, combat power won't be an issue. It seems the key to clearing the secret realm lies in observation, solving the puzzles set by the holy talisman Heavenly Lord. The secret realm was not very large, with a diameter of only 10,000 kilometers. The Death Dragon Knights quickly explored it. It was indeed an enclosed cave, with flowers, grass, and trees on the ground, ceiling, and all around. The vegetation was far denser than in the previous 2 difficulties. Some plants had grown taller than Lin Moyu, so he had to fly to avoid obstructing his view, hovering in midair. He flew slowly, carefully examining the situation within the secret realm. No waterfalls, no streams, no rocks. The rune beasts leave no corpses after death, no directional clues. So where is the key? Senior Heavenly Lord, what puzzle did you leave behind? Lin Moyu couldn't find the solution to the secret realm for a while. Time passed, and he knew it was limited. When time ran out, he might get the Wood God Flower, but he certainly wouldn't get the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's inheritance. According to the Secret Realm's information, many people obtained their first Wood God Flower about 10 hours after entering the Secret Realm. This meant he had 10 hours to solve the puzzle left by the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord and obtain the Wood God Flower in the correct way. It wasn't about waiting for 10 hours for the Secret Realm to automatically deliver the Wood God Flower. For others, getting the Wood God Flower was enough. But for him, it meant elimination. He didn't know if there would be a second chance. What could it be? 2 hours passed without any discovery. Let's try the foolish method. Lin Moyu had a thought, and countless skeleton generals appeared around him. He summoned a full 100 million skeleton generals to start a carpet search of the secret realm. The so-called foolish method was to use the characteristic of the Wood God Flower. As long as one got close to it, it would trigger the guardian rune beast. Lin Moyu knew this was a foolish method, but it didn't violate the rules. In the low-tier difficulty, he had killed the guardian rune beast before obtaining the Wood God Flower, and it didn't affect the result. If he could find the Wood God Flower this way and backtrack from there, he might find the correct method. However, Lin Moyu didn't have high hopes for this method. He felt it might not work. Given the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's methods, it wouldn't be so easy to find. The middle-tier difficulty had already proven this point. Indeed, Lin Moyu's thoughts were correct. After a carpet search by the skeleton generals, they still found nothing. 4 hours had passed, leaving 6 hours. It seems the foolish method is unreliable. Let's keep looking. If I still can't find it, I'll use the explosive luck technique. Lin Moyu sighed and continued searching. If he used the explosive luck technique, he believed he would find it. Then he could enter the second round, gaining another 10 hours. No matter what, he had to ensure he wasn't eliminated in the first round. The flowers and grass here are dense but chaotic, with no pattern. The trees also seem random, with many branches, no directional clues. The only strange thing is that the ceiling also has them, and they're upside down. If I stand on the ceiling. A flash of inspiration struck Lin Moyu, and he discovered a point he had always overlooked. Chapter 2066, 2066. Chapter 2066. Rune Inheritance in the Secret Realm. Lin Moyu arrived at the top of the Secret Realm cave, and his entire body was inverted. For a moment, he couldn't tell which side was the top of the cave and which was the ground. Section 2352 23,692,353. He even had an illusion that when he first entered the secret realm, he was actually upside down. Now he was truly standing on the ground. This illusion was very strong. In the starry sky, there is no concept of top and bottom, it is all relative. Lin Moyu changed his perspective and finally saw some different scenes. The previous ground had now become the top. From a distance, Lin Moyu saw that the trees in the secret realm vaguely formed a rune. This rune felt somewhat familiar. This is a guiding rune. I didn't expect the holy rune Heavenly Venerate to use runes as a puzzle. But this rune is incomplete, only 1/3 of it. The other part is here. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and he flew up again, changing direction. The top and bottom of the cave, with trees forming 1/3 of the rune each. The other third was around the surroundings. Lin Moyu combined these trees in his mind, forming a complete rune. Then he reached out and drew the rune, which was not complicated, formed by the fusion of 2 basic runes. Any rune master above the 7th rank could draw and fuse it. The difference was that other rune masters found it difficult to achieve perfect fusion. But Lin Moyu could perfectly fuse the runes. In his eyes, this rune was not complicated and posed no difficulty. The real challenge was recognizing that the rune was formed by the trees and then combining them. After all, there were too many flowers and plants here, creating many interfering factors. If one was not particularly familiar with runes and did not observe extremely carefully, they would not be able to see it. A rune formed at his fingertips, and after activation, it turned into a stream of light, flying into the distance. The rune flew to the edge of the secret realm, disappearing into an inconspicuous patch of grass. Lin Moyu keenly saw that behind this patch of grass, a 9-petaled wood god flower appeared. This wood god flower was as white as jade, emitting a faint glow, looking more like a piece of fine white jade than a flower. The fragrance of the flower penetrated the soul, refreshing Lin Moyu's spirit. The wood god flower indeed had the effect of enhancing the soul, especially high-grade wood god flowers, which had significant effects. Lin Moyu confirmed that there was no wood god flower in this patch of grass before it appeared because of the rune's activation. The rune was the key to this layer of the secret realm. The rune not only guided the way but also activated the holy rune Heavenly Venerate's arrangement, truly obtaining the wood god flower. Lin Moyu went to pick the wood god flower, and a tremor came from the side. A large tree suddenly grew crazily, reaching hundreds of meters high in an instant. This ordinary tree transformed into a rune beast in the blink of an eye, and it was a high-level rune beast, with a strong presence of rule power. The branches whipped down like whips, but Lin Moyu did not dodge or avoid them, not even paying attention. The Death Dragon Knights were the first to meet the attack, their golden armor blocking the whips. They surrounded the tree and began to attack it in groups. The tree was strong, not weaker than the Death Dragon Knights, but it couldn't withstand the group attack for long. Lin Moyu smoothly picked the wood god flower, muttering to himself, another puzzle of the Heavenly Venerate solved. In less than a minute, the rune beast tree was killed, turning into runes and dissipating. With the guardian rune beast dead and the wood god flower in hand, the secret realm rumbled and shook violently. Lin Moyu looked up and saw a large crack in the sky above, shrouded in mist. In the mist, a giant wood god flower loomed. This wood god flower had 12 petals, looking completely jade-like, emitting a white light, extremely holy. The king of wood god flowers. Lin Moyu knew that everyone who obtained high-grade wood god flowers would see the king of wood god flowers. Therefore, there were many records about the king of wood god flowers in the data. But it was only seen no one had ever obtained the king of wood god flowers. Looking at the king of wood god flowers, Lin Moyu muttered to himself, "You belong to me." In the mist, a portal appeared, and Lin Moyu rushed into it, entering the next secret realm. The cave was identical, and the environment looked no different. The Death Dragon Knights first cleared the rune beasts in the secret realm. Compared to the previous time, the rune beasts were slightly stronger but still overwhelmed by the Death Dragon Knights. Lin Moyu looked up at the trees in the secret realm, combining them in his mind to form a rune. The rune has changed. Lin Moyu found that this time the rune was different from the previous one, a completely new combination of runes. Compared to the previous rune, the two runes combined this time were slightly more complex. But it still didn't stump Lin Moyu. He not only drew the rune but also achieved perfect fusion. The rune flew out, activating the wood god flower. The Death Dragon Knights dealt with the rune beasts, while Lin Moyu took the wood god flower. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Lin Moyu went through 6 secret realms, each one more difficult than the last. The rune beasts grew stronger each time. By the 3rd round, the rune beasts were already on par with the Death Dragon Knights, at least in one-on-one situations. By the 4th round, the rune beasts reached Divine Venerate level 8, officially surpassing the Death Dragon Knights. At this point, Lin Moyu deployed the Legion rulers. Under their leadership, the combat power of the Death Dragon Knights increased significantly, and the rune beasts were once again quickly defeated. The rune beasts were a test of combat power, while the other test targeted runes, with the difficulty constantly increasing. The runes became more and more complex, harder to discern. By the 4th round, Lin Moyu found that the flowers and plants he had previously considered interfering factors had changed in nature. The flowers and plants were no longer interfering factors, they had become part of the runes. The trees formed the main structure of the runes, while the flowers and plants became the intricate details, all indispensable. As the rune difficulty increased, Lin Moyu realized that the Holy Rune Heavenly Venerate was using this special method to pass on his rune knowledge. Through repeated observation and combination of runes, his understanding of runes deepened, gaining new insights. Runes could not only be combined but also split. A complete rune could be split into 2 or even more parts. Even seemingly split runes could still maintain their connection and original function. Lin Moyu thought of the ancient box. The runes on the ancient box were like this. An ancient rune was split and then covered on the ancient box. The seemingly scattered runes were actually still a whole, maintaining their original function. With this, Lin Moyu thought of many new uses for runes. Especially in rune arrays, it could make the arrays more flexible and changeable. This is the inheritance. The Heavenly Venerate's inheritance. The information in the data is just one aspect, like words in a book, not vivid. But now, it's more like teaching you hand in hand. If you can understand, you can obtain the inheritance. If you can't understand, then there is no follow-up. Lin Moyu's understanding of the Holy Rune Heavenly Venerate deepened. The requirements for the Heavenly Venerate's inheritance were very high, demanding all-around capabilities from the inheritor. Combat power, comprehension, sensitivity, luck, all indispensable. Chapter 2067. 2067. Chapter 2067. Seeing them as a joke. On the 7th round of the Secret Realm, Lin Moyu finally felt a bit of pressure. From this round onwards, the rune beasts in the Secret Realm had all reached the 9th tier of the God Sovereign level, barely qualifying as peak God Sovereigns. Even with the Legion commander leading the Death Dragon Knight Legion, it took some effort to eliminate them. Lin Moyu observed this and thought, next time, I'll have to deploy the Skeleton King. Fortunately, each round of the Secret Realm lasted 10 hours, and the Secret Realm wasn't very large, so Lin Moyu didn't need to rush. He summoned 300 units of the Death Dragon Knight Legion, distributing them throughout the Secret Realm to clear out the rune beasts. This level of difficulty was indeed very high for other cultivators. Even peak God Sovereigns would struggle against the onslaught of rune beasts, and they would eventually tire, unable to fight indefinitely. Not to mention the 8th round, even the 4th round, facing a large number of 8th-tier God Sovereign rune beasts, would exhaust peak God Sovereigns, especially with the presence of Guardian rune beasts. Lin Moyu followed behind the Death Dragon Knight Legion, carefully observing the distribution of trees and considering the placement of flowers and grass. Gradually, he frowned as he noticed the difficulty of the runes in the Secret Realm had increased again. Lin Moyu saw that this time, the runes had become threefold. There were runes on all sides, the top, and the bottom. Moreover, the runes were scattered, with parts of the top runes on the ground and parts of the ground runes on the sides. They were connected in a peculiar way, some by vines, some by the veins of flowers and grass. They formed an intricate pattern, interwoven with each other. The runes were scattered and distributed across various areas, and Lin Moyu had to reassemble them through these subtle connections to draw the correct runes. There were countless runes, and some were very similar. A slight misunderstanding could result in drawing the wrong rune, and the final fused rune would also be incorrect, preventing the wood god flower from appearing. Previously, Lin Moyu could quickly find the correct runes, but this time, his speed slowed down. He combined and restored various detailed pieces of information in his mind. Outside the secret realm, god sovereigns arrived every day. At this moment, the arena had been set up, but no god sovereigns were fighting. They weren't in a hurry. Lin Moyu was the center of their attention. Almost every conversation included Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu had been in the secret realm for many days and had not come out. Some even speculated that Lin Moyu might have died inside. Although the wood god secret realm wasn't particularly dangerous, it wasn't entirely without risk. Some people had died in the secret realm because they didn't use escape talismans in time. Such cases were rare, but they did happen occasionally. If Lin Moyu had indeed died inside, it wouldn't be surprising. However, when Yu Chengfeng heard this, he immediately refuted it. Even the scholarly Yu Chengfeng showed disdain for such remarks. He knew very well how strong Lin Moyu was. Even if he were to fight Lin Moyu to the death, he knew he would be the one to die. The idea that Lin Moyu would die in the secret realm was impossible. But Yu Chengfeng didn't say much. He let them speculate. He told the god sovereigns of the Yu family, just wait for the news of Mr. Lin clearing the secret realm and watch these old guys' faces. The Yu family god sovereigns all smiled, looking at the other god sovereigns as if they were a joke. 4 hours later, Lin Moyu finally successfully drew the runes for the 8th round. 3 seemingly simple basic runes were perfectly fused together using the soul as a bridge, forming a new rune. The fusion of 3 runes was a challenge for many rune masters and not easy to achieve. Only rune masters above the 7th tier could possibly complete the fusion of 3 runes, and even then, it wasn't always successful. As for perfect fusion, it was even more unlikely. After the runes fused, they exploded in the air, creating a huge gap in the secret realm. Countless mists poured out from the gap, and a giant tree, thousands of meters tall, grew from the mist. A starry sky giant tree. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. This tree resembled the starry sky giant tree but was formed by runes, merely simulating its appearance. Behind the giant tree was a wood god flower with 9 petals. The runes had become more difficult, the secret realm's difficulty had increased, and even the appearance of the wood god flower had changed. Lin Moyu smiled. The heavenly lord's tricks are indeed numerous, making it seem a bit more advanced. The guardian rune beast, the giant tree, launched an attack on Lin Moyu. The Legion commander led the Death Dragon Knight Legion to meet it head-on. 100,000 Death Dragon Knights surrounded the giant tree in layers. The Legion commander charged at the forefront, raising his battle blade for a fatal strike. The fatal strike was his strongest attack, gathering the power of the entire Legion. With one slash, a large swath of light was brought up, cutting off countless branches. But when the blade fell on the rune beast giant tree, it couldn't advance any further. The giant tree's strong defense blocked the Legion commander's attack. The Death Dragon Knights breathed dragon fire, and the undying flames, carrying the undying laws, burned fiercely. But they still couldn't harm it. The guardian rune beast frantically swung its branches, and any Death Dragon Knight hit by them was instantly shattered. In one round of attacks, tens of thousands of Death Dragon Knights were killed, with half the Legion dead or injured. The undying necromancy spell was activated, and the Death Dragon Knights were resurrected, continuing the fierce battle. The Death Dragon Knights and the Legion commander couldn't truly harm the guardian rune beast, and the guardian rune beast couldn't kill them all either. Lin Moyu knew that if this continued, there would be no result even after days and nights of fighting. With limited time, he lightly tapped his finger. The Skeleton King's throne emerged from the undying flames. The 10,000-meter-tall Skeleton King stood towering in the secret realm. The bone sword swung in the flames, slashing out a beam of sword light. Spell: God Slaying. Signature spell: God Slaying Slash. The sword light exploded on the guardian rune beast, creating a huge hole, almost cutting it in half. The Skeleton King was a true peak god sovereign, stronger than the guardian rune beast. With just one slash, the guardian rune beast was half dead. The Skeleton King charged forward, and sword light rained down like a storm. In an instant, the guardian rune beast was shattered into pieces. Lin Moyu couldn't help but sigh. The difference in combat power between high-tier god sovereigns is like heaven and earth. The Legion commander, at the peak of the 8th tier, could only scratch its surface. The Death Dragon Knights couldn't even harm it. It still required the Skeleton King to settle the matter. With the wood god flower in hand, Lin Moyu stepped into the portal, starting the 8th round of the secret realm. The difficulty of the 8th and 9th rounds increased again, but the increase was not significant and was resolved by Lin Moyu. Until he obtained the 9th high-tier wood god flower, a pitch-black portal appeared before him. The portal looked like a devouring monster, seemingly ready to swallow Lin Moyu. Behind the portal, a vortex was faintly spinning. All the changes indicated that the 10th round would be extraordinary. Chapter 2068, 2068. Chapter 2068. How do you have his flame? Lin Moyu looked at the entrance and felt that the 10th round of the high-tier difficulty secret realm would be different. But he couldn't back out now, he had to move forward. He put away the wood god flower and stepped in boldly. The scene before him dimmed, and he felt as if he were in the starry sky. Amidst the mist, starlight continuously shone, but he couldn't sense any starlight laws within it. Lin Moyu, stepping on the star river of the starlight law, was most sensitive to the starlight law. These starlights were not ordinary starlights but artificially created illusions. He was still within the secret realm, where everything was evolved from ancient runes. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry, he chose to wait and see. The mist gradually receded, and the scene before him became clearer. He had indeed entered a starry sky, a false starry sky evolved from ancient runes. Congratulations, my successor. A familiar voice came from the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. Lin Moyu looked ahead and saw hundreds of starlights simultaneously light up in the starry sky, forming a rune. The rune reflected a throne, and the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord was leisurely sitting on the throne. This time, Lin Moyu felt a trace of a soul. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had left a wisp of his soul here again. This wisp of soul was clearly more powerful and had its own will, stronger than the one in the mysterious star secret realm. Lin Moyu bowed to the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. Junior greets the Heavenly Lord. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord chuckled, not bad, young one, very polite. Congratulations on passing the previous tests. You are even more outstanding than I imagined. At the mere 2nd tier of the God Sovereign level, you possess combat power comparable to a peak God Sovereign. Even in my era, such individuals were rare. I am very curious about you. Do not resist, let me take a look. In the starry sky, starlight shone brilliantly, and countless rays of light shot from all directions, illuminating Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu's heart tightened. He wanted to refuse but found he couldn't. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord didn't give him a choice. Lin Moyu could only accept. Anger surged within him. Lin Moyu felt the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had gone too far. Even if you are a Heavenly Lord, you cannot invade my privacy without my permission. This Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord was different from the one in the mysterious star secret realm. He wasn't as irritable or arrogant, but Lin Moyu felt even worse about him. Vaguely, Lin Moyu began to dislike the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, feeling that this guy wasn't a good person. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's soul invaded Lin Moyu's soul world, trying to peer into his soul. In the soul world, the world-burning fire seed suddenly erupted, and a sharp scream came from the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's mouth. Thick flames suddenly rose from the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, and the undying flame instantly engulfed his soul. In the undying flame, the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord screamed continuously. Lin Moyu could feel that the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's soul was severely injured, being burned by the undying flame. This time, the undying flame was different from when Lin Moyu activated it himself. It contained the power of the world-burning fire seed. This power could burn even the world, incredibly terrifying. However, it was still just a fire seed, not strong enough. If it were strong enough, it could instantly burn the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's remnant soul to ashes. No matter how weak the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's remnant soul was, it was still a remnant soul of a Heavenly Lord. A Heavenly Lord's remnant soul had the power to suppress a saint sovereign, undeniably strong. But it couldn't withstand the world-burning fire. Lin Moyu became more interested in the world-burning fire seed, wondering if it could burn a real Heavenly Lord if it were strong enough. Perhaps it really can, Lin Moyu thought, full of anticipation. Watching the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord scream continuously, Lin Moyu felt no sympathy. He completely deserved it, it served him right. After a while, the flames on the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord finally subsided. He looked at Lin Moyu with lingering fear and trembled. How do you have his flame? His flame. Lin Moyu thought of the mysterious master, more terrifying than a Heavenly Lord. From the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's words, it wasn't hard to deduce that the world-burning fire belonged to that mysterious master. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said such a thing. The world-burning fire might be a symbol, carrying a meaning beyond the flame itself. Lin Moyu didn't answer but quietly watched the holy talisman Heavenly Lord. After being burned, the holy talisman Heavenly Lord's remnant soul was at least half as weak and had begun to dissipate uncontrollably. Lin Moyu saw a trace of fear in his eyes, along with a hint of resentment. No, this remnant soul has developed self-awareness. Lin Moyu thought of a troubling possibility. The remnant soul had been preserved from ancient times until now. To ensure it didn't dissipate, the holy talisman Heavenly Lord must have used some methods to nourish and preserve it. Moreover, this remnant soul was clearly more abundant and powerful, developing self-awareness wasn't impossible. With this realization, Lin Moyu understood why the final round of the secret realm had changed. It shouldn't have changed. He should have experienced the 10th round as before, then fused the wood god flower to receive the inheritance. But because this remnant soul had developed self-awareness, it didn't want to follow the holy talisman Heavenly Lord's set path. It wanted its own way. Combining this with its previous actions, Lin Moyu finally understood. Lin Moyu's gaze turned cold. You don't want to peer into my secrets, you want to possess me. The remnant soul's expression changed, showing a hint of confusion. What are you talking about? How could I, a Heavenly Lord, possess you? You entered here, passed the tests, gained my recognition, received the inheritance, and became my successor. From now on, you are my disciple. How could I possess you? Watching his clumsy performance, Lin Moyu sneered, your acting is too poor. You call yourself a Heavenly Lord, yet you dare not admit your actions. Do you deserve to be called a Heavenly Lord? How dare you speak so disrespectfully? The remnant soul roared angrily. Lin Moyu waved his hand dismissively, forget it. I don't want this inheritance. Let me leave, and I'll pretend this never happened. The remnant soul roared, you have no choice but to take this inheritance. He finally stopped pretending, his eyes filled with ferocity and murderous intent. The entire starry sky trembled, and endless power surged from all directions, as if to crush Lin Moyu completely. Lin Moyu remained unafraid, calmly watching him. He had long guessed this outcome. No matter how strong the remnant soul was, it was still just a remnant soul, striving to become a living being. Having waited so long for someone like him, how could it let him go? Lin Moyu said, you should know that possessing me won't succeed. The remnant soul sneered, although you have his flame, you are not him. As long as I kill you, his flame will naturally disappear. Lin Moyu shrugged helplessly, in that case, we have nothing to discuss. If you want to kill me, go ahead and try. As he spoke, countless undead legions appeared in the starry sky. Billions of skeleton generals flew out, attacking the stars in the sky. The numerous stars here were the source of the remnant soul's power and could form various runes. To deal with the remnant soul, the stars had to be destroyed first. The stars quickly lit up, and countless starlights intertwined into numerous runes. The runes transformed into flames or thunder, overwhelming the undead legions. Chapter 2069, 2069. Chapter 2069, Copying the Heavenly Lord's Runes. The previously silent starry sky suddenly became extremely lively. Seas of fire, seas of thunder, and ice storms appeared one after another, overwhelming the undead army. Each rune was very powerful. Although they were not ancient runes, their power had reached the limit of high-level runes. Each attack was infinitely close to the other shore realm, causing massive deaths in the undead army, which was utterly defeated. Lin Moyu admitted he was not as good. If he were to draw these runes, he certainly wouldn't achieve such power. After all, it's the Heavenly Lord. These runes are indeed strong. The remnant soul gritted its teeth and let out a cruel laugh, give up. Although you have many summoned creatures, they can't withstand the Heavenly Lord's slaughter. Once you are killed by the Heavenly Lord, I will possess you. Even if you have his flame, you can't control it. You have only one path to take. Lin Moyu ignored him. The remnant soul would die soon, so why bother with it? He was very interested in the runes in the starry sky and didn't pay attention to the battle situation. The number of undead was sufficient, and with the presence of the undying undead, there would be no problem for a while. Lin Moyu took this opportunity to appreciate these runes. He wanted to learn from them. He recognized each rune, and he had drawn some of them before. Why was the power different? This was a very interesting matter. If he could figure it out, it would greatly benefit his understanding of runes. The stronger the runes, the stronger the rune formations they form, and the stronger the fused runes will be. The foundation is everything, no doubt about it. Lin Moyu carefully compared, looking for the differences between his runes and those of the opponent. The first difference is the soul power carried by the runes. The runes of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord use the soul power of the Heavenly Lord realm, which is stronger than mine. The second difference is that these runes seem to have been modified. The overall structure hasn't changed, but there are some changes in the details, making the runes stronger. It should be the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord who made modifications based on his understanding of the way of runes, making them closer to the Tao. Runes are the principles that cultivators comprehend from the runes of the greater world. Not all runes are entirely correct. After reaching the Heavenly Lord realm, the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord made corrections to the runes based on his understanding of the Tao, making them closer to the runes of the greater world. After understanding these 2 points, Lin Moyu knew what he needed to do. He also drew a rune, named Thunder, similar to the Thunder rune in the starry sky. The Thunder rune drawn by Lin Moyu was also not weak. With his understanding of runes and the soul of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, the Thunder rune could exert the attack power of a 4th-tier God Sovereign. The rune's power exceeded its own realm by 2 tiers, already considered top-notch, far surpassing ordinary rune masters. Then Lin Moyu began to adjust, using the Thunder rune in the starry sky as a sample to fine-tune his own rune. Ordinary rune masters didn't have this ability, but Lin Moyu did. Soul power enveloped the rune, making fine adjustments to it. Some details and strokes were subtly changed, and Lin Moyu clearly felt the rune's power increasing. The attack power of the Thunder rune increased from the 4th tier to the 5th tier of the God Sovereign realm. At this moment, Lin Moyu felt the rune becoming more natural and harmonious, producing a feeling of being as natural as the Tao. Lin Moyu realized that his approach was correct. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's way of runes had reached an astonishing level. By copying his runes, Lin Moyu could quickly improve his understanding of runes. With progress made, Lin Moyu's confidence soared, and he continued to fine-tune the Thunder rune. Moments later, the power of the Thunder rune increased again, reaching the 6th tier of the God Sovereign realm. The rune's power exceeded its own realm by 4 tiers, leaving other rune masters far behind. However, this was also the limit, and it couldn't be improved further. Lin Moyu immediately began drawing another rune, named Fire Sea, again copying the runes in the starry sky for fine-tuning. Fine-tuning was not just copying but learning how to adjust, continuously accumulating experience. When enough experience was accumulated and fully understood, other runes could also be adjusted even without a reference. Lin Moyu felt this opportunity was fantastic, almost as good as the inheritance of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. The remnant soul finally noticed something was wrong. No matter how many undead were killed, there were always more. Killing them was like an endless cycle. The runes attacked frantically, and even though the starry sky was shattered, it was useless. The remnant soul began to panic. His time was limited, and activating the runes continuously consumed his power. If this continued, he would be exhausted to death. He looked at Lin Moyu, but the undead army was so numerous that it obscured Lin Moyu's figure, preventing him from seeing what Lin Moyu was doing from the beginning. This time, he carefully observed and finally saw what Lin Moyu was doing. "You dare to copy the Heavenly Lord's runes? How bold!" Lin Moyu sneered, "Don't flatter yourself. These are not your runes. You are just a remnant soul of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. You developed self-awareness and consider yourself a true Heavenly Lord. To put it bluntly, you are nothing." These words provoked the remnant soul, which roared like a wild beast. "How dare you speak to the Heavenly Lord like this? You seek death." He began drawing runes. As a remnant soul of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, he possessed some of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's memories and could naturally draw runes. However, drawing runes consumed a lot of soul power, and he usually wouldn't do it. Now, to kill Lin Moyu, he no longer cared. He hated Lin Moyu to the core, as the world-burning fire had burned half of his remnant soul. A 3-dimensional rune was quickly drawn, and Lin Moyu became vigilant, whispering, "Ancient rune." An ancient rune was at least at the other shore realm, extremely powerful. To kill Lin Moyu, the remnant soul didn't hesitate to consume soul power to draw an ancient rune. When the ancient rune was completed, Lin Moyu clearly felt the remnant soul weaken by another 3 parts. At this moment, his soul power was only 1/3 of its peak. With this amount of soul power, he couldn't draw a second ancient rune. If he drew another ancient rune, he might collapse on the spot, let alone possess anyone. An ancient rune, though powerful, was not insurmountable. The ancient rune exploded in the starry sky, transforming into a giant tree. Taste the power of the starry sky giant tree. The remnant soul sneered. Lin Moyu looked puzzled. Another starry sky giant tree. It seemed the holy talisman heavenly lord really liked starry sky giant trees. In the high-tier difficulty secret realm, the guardians of the wood god flower were all starry sky giant trees. However, the one before him, formed by a complete ancient rune, was more lifelike and powerful. The starry sky giant tree appeared on the battlefield as if by teleportation, swinging countless branches. Wherever the branches passed, the undead army was swept away, unable to resist its attacks. The golden armor runes were like paper in front of it, completely ineffective. The powerful rule force spread wantonly, and the starry sky giant tree had an overwhelming presence. You're dead, starry sky giant tree, kill him. The remnant soul commanded, locking onto Lin Moyu. The starry sky giant tree immediately charged at Lin Moyu, sweeping its branches and forcibly creating a path. Lin Moyu could feel that the starry sky giant tree had combat power equivalent to the other shore realm, but its true strength wouldn't surpass the other shore realm. In his eyes, it was similar to the white star in the Xingwo tribe. In that case, let me put an end to this. Lin Moyu sneered, and an ancient rune jade piece appeared in his hand, emanating the unique aura of an original spell. Chapter 2070. 2070. Chapter 2070. You want to trap me, I want to kill you. Original spell. Gathering power. Lin Moyu's aura continued to rise, breaking through to the 7th tier of the God Sovereign realm in the blink of an eye, becoming a high-tier God Sovereign. Then his aura surged like a rainbow, reaching the peak of the God Sovereign realm, just a step away from the half-step other shore realm. The remnant soul showed a puzzled expression. How can your realm suddenly increase so much? What spell did you use? Why can't I understand it? So, he doesn't have these memories. Lin Moyu sneered inwardly. After all, the remnant soul was just a remnant and couldn't possess all the memories of the holy talisman Heavenly Lord. He only had a portion, the memories and knowledge that the holy talisman Heavenly Lord had willingly given, so it was normal for him not to know about the original spell. Lin Moyu didn't explain. 10 drops of myriad colors water and 100,000 units of faith power burned simultaneously, merging with his soul power and injecting into the ancient rune jade piece. A giant fist appeared out of thin air, smashing towards the starry sky giant tree. The ancient rune's punch also reached the other shore realm, not inferior to the starry sky giant tree. Original spell. Strengthening soldiers. The second original spell was activated, and at the same time, the undying flame burned fiercely in the starry sky. 5 skeleton thrones floated up, and 5 10,000-meter-tall skeleton kings stood up from the thrones. Myriad colors water and faith power burned fiercely. Each skeleton king had 100 drops of myriad colors water and 1,000,000 units of faith power. Combined with the strengthening soldier's spell, the skeleton king's destructive power was pushed to the limit, nearly reaching the other shore realm. A golden sword appeared in Lin Moyu's hand, also enhanced by 100 drops of myriad colors water and 1,000,000 units of faith power. Lin Moyu enjoyed the same treatment as the skeleton kings. The remnant soul screamed, "What is this? Why don't I know about it? What methods are you using?" He instinctively felt that the myriad colors water Lin Moyu took out was very dangerous and posed a great threat to him. But he had no memory of these things he didn't know. Lin Moyu sneered and, together with the skeleton kings, swung his long sword. Spell. God Slaying. 6 sword lights flashed in the starry sky. The storm-like branches suddenly stopped, and 6 sword lights exploded on the starry sky giant tree. As the sword lights exploded, the ancient rune's punch also landed on it. The starry sky giant tree shattered on the spot, its body smashed to pieces by the sword lights and the giant punch. The ancient rune broke and gradually dissipated in the starry sky. The remnant soul's eyes widened in fear. This is impossible. How can you be so strong? The starry sky giant tree, formed by the ancient rune and comparable to the other shore realm, was killed so easily. Lin Moyu's combat power was beyond his imagination. Lin Moyu looked at the remnant soul with disdain. After all, a remnant soul is just a remnant soul, far inferior to a true heavenly lord. Even if the ancient rune of a heavenly lord broke, it could independently exist and evolve into a secret realm. But the ancient rune of a remnant soul, once broken, was completely gone. Lin Moyu looked at the remnant soul. Now it's your turn. The soul-slaying sword appeared, and myriad colors water and faith power were activated again. The soul-slaying sword flashed, and the remnant soul screamed in pain. But Lin Moyu frowned. The remnant soul seemed to be in pain, but it wasn't actually harmed. The soul-slaying sword was not weak and could harm the other shore realm, but it couldn't hurt the remnant soul. The reason was that the remnant soul belonged to a heavenly lord, and the two were on different levels. Just as his curse could make a peak god sovereign feel pain and even interrupt spells, it couldn't cause effective damage. Attacking the soul-slaying sword was already the strongest method. Unless he used corpse explosion, other spells were useless against it. Runes flashed in the starry sky, and the battle between the runes and the undead army continued without stopping. The remnant soul laughed maniacally in pain. Ha ha ha, you can't kill me. You can't kill me. You are trapped here, and you will never escape. Your lifespan is limited, but I can wait. I can wait for thousands or tens of thousands of years until your lifespan ends. As he spoke, his remnant soul gradually faded and disappeared. As he disappeared, the runes also extinguished. The space fell into darkness, and the starlight vanished. The battle abruptly stopped, and Lin Moyu frowned. This guy actually hid. He could sense the remnant soul and lock onto it. During the battle, the bone hell had silently marked the remnant soul. Even if the remnant soul hid, it couldn't escape Lin Moyu's lock. Now, as long as Lin Moyu used corpse explosion, he could kill the remnant soul. Lin Moyu believed that using a supreme corpse would cause enough damage to destroy the heavenly lord's remnant soul. But he didn't want to do that, it was too wasteful. Using his trump card on the remnant soul was not worth it. The escape talisman can't be used. It seems I am indeed trapped. But can it really trap me? Wishful thinking. Lin Moyu checked the escape talisman and found it indeed unusable. But as long as he had time, deepening his understanding of space laws, he could also open a space door to escape the secret realm. There were ways to escape, but Lin Moyu didn't want to use them. At this point, Lin Moyu was no longer thinking about escaping but about how to kill the remnant soul with the least cost. After thinking it over, his attention fell on the world-burning fire seed. The world-burning fire seed came from the world-burning rune of that mysterious master. Unlike ordinary runes, the world-burning fire had the power of both reality and illusion, capable of burning the world, refining the world, and burning remnant souls. Let's give it a try. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and he began to activate the world-burning fire seed. The world-burning fire seed had not fully grown, like a budding flower. Lin Moyu now wanted it to bloom early and burn the world. The world tree followed Lin Moyu's will, dropping countless branches to wrap around the world-burning fire seed. Vast soul power poured into the world-burning fire seed, urging its growth. The world-burning fire seed began to pulse violently, growing stronger. This premature activation was like forcing growth, not very beneficial. But it wouldn't cause much harm either. At worst, he could redraw a world-burning rune and create another world-burning fire seed. Lin Moyu was straightforward, he just wanted to kill the remnant soul now. This thing wanted to possess him, so it deserved to die. The fire seed grew stronger and finally bloomed like a flower, turning into a blazing flame. Lin Moyu raised his palm, and a flame appeared in his hand, emitting an indescribable aura. It looked somewhat similar to the undying flame, both having a grayish hue and no temperature. But anyone who saw the world-burning fire would feel the fear of being burned to death. Go! With a thought, the world-burning fire exploded, silently sweeping across the entire space. Burning the world, refining the world. Lin Moyu didn't know if the world-burning fire could refine this secret realm space, but it didn't matter. The important thing was that the world-burning fire could burn the remnant soul to death. Screams echoed in the starry sky. The hiding remnant soul couldn't escape the world-burning fire. It screamed continuously, in extreme pain. Lin Moyu could clearly feel it being devoured and burned by the world-burning fire bit by bit. The remnant soul reappeared in the starry sky, rolling on the ground in pain, completely unlike a heavenly lord. Spare me, spare me! The remnant soul screamed, losing all dignity of a heavenly lord. Lin Moyu looked at it coldly, saying nothing. At this point, sparing it was impossible. Not only did he not spare it, but Lin Moyu also enhanced his soul power, making the world-burning fire even stronger. Chapter 2071, 2071. Chapter 2071. It seems the current era is very difficult. The remnant soul screamed continuously, and Lin Moyu increased the intensity of the fire, causing it to scream even louder. The remnant soul screamed, "Spare me, I will give you the inheritance. If I am burned to death, the inheritance will be lost too. That is the inheritance of the heavenly lord." Lin Moyu had no sympathy. The remnant soul had to die, even if it meant giving up the inheritance. Even without the inheritance, I can reach the Heavenly Lord realm with my own strength. His cold voice extinguished the last hope of the remnant soul. Lin Moyu was determined to kill it, even if it meant giving up the inheritance. His words drove the remnant soul to madness. It roared and lunged at Lin Moyu. A giant toad snake appeared in the starry sky, the remnant soul transforming into a rune beast, attacking Lin Moyu. The undead army couldn't stop it. This rune beast had at least the combat power of the other shore realm. This was the remnant soul's final madness. Once a Heavenly Lord's remnant soul went mad, it was extremely terrifying. Lin Moyu had anticipated this and calmly took out a 3-light talisman from the treasure ship's warehouse and activated it. With one step, Lin Moyu disappeared. The remnant soul, seemingly losing its mind, continued to madly lunge at Lin Moyu, but Lin Moyu used the 3-light talisman to move at extreme speed, teleporting all over the secret realm's starry sky. No matter what, the giant snake formed by the remnant soul couldn't touch Lin Moyu. The world-burning fire burned fiercely, and the remnant soul grew weaker and weaker until the runes collapsed, and the remnant soul was on the brink of death. I won't let you go. The remnant soul, barely alive, tried to cast a final curse. Lin Moyu sneered and activated the explosive luck technique. The remnant soul's luck was revealed, a value of 10, gray, on the verge of death. Lin Moyu's luck, on the other hand, soared like a dragon. The difference in luck was enormous. Under the explosive luck technique, the remnant soul's curse was interrupted. The world-burning fire burned fiercely, turning the remnant soul to ashes, truly reducing it to nothing. Lin Moyu carefully sensed the karma. After all, it was the remnant soul of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, and Lin Moyu didn't want to form any karma with the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. He guessed that the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord might still be alive, and forming karma with such a figure would be of no benefit to him. Fortunately, he didn't feel any karmic force. With the death of the remnant soul, a large amount of starlight reappeared in the secret realm's starry sky, bringing some light. Then, a wood god flower appeared in the starry sky, a high-tier wood god flower with 9 petals. Lin Moyu, with some doubt, took the wood god flower in his hand and also took out the other wood god flowers. First, he fused the 10 high-tier wood god flowers into one, forming a wood god flower with 11 petals. Then, he fused the previously fused 10-petal wood god flower with it. The 12th petal grew, turning it into a 12-petal wood god flower king. The wood god flower king before him was exactly the same as the one he had seen in the mist. The entire flower was pure white, emitting a holy aura, more beautiful than the finest white jade. In the white light, there was also an extremely pure soul force overflowing. Lin Moyu was certain that absorbing this wood god flower king would elevate his soul to a new level. Currently, his soul had just reached the late stage of the other shore realm, equivalent to the Saint Sovereign level. However, among the Saint Sovereigns, he was only comparable to a newly promoted Saint Sovereign like the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. If he absorbed it, he estimated he could reach the peak of the other shore realm, comparable to an old Saint Sovereign like the House Saint Sovereign. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry to absorb the Wood God Flower King. After the fusion of the Wood God Flower King, the secret realm's starry sky changed again. Starlight intertwined to form a huge rune, a 3-dimensional ancient rune. Lin Moyu didn't recognize this ancient rune, but he could see some clues from it. Inside this ancient rune, there seemed to be another space hidden. Hiding another space within the secret realm, a double space, was not something an ordinary person could do. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had such means, and Lin Moyu was not surprised. "Little guy, you are quite good." A familiar voice sounded, and Lin Moyu's heart tightened as he looked at the center of the ancient rune. In the center of the ancient rune, a figure slowly emerged. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, it was the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord again. Moreover, this Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord also had a wisp of soul. Lin Moyu looked at him with a strange expression, not knowing what the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord was up to. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord looked at Lin Moyu with a smile. "Little guy, there's no need to look at me like that. The one you killed was indeed a wisp of my soul, and this is also a wisp of my soul." Lin Moyu suddenly understood something, so the Heavenly Lord had already made arrangements. He realized that the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord wouldn't leave such a big flaw. The self-aware remnant soul was not an accident but an inevitability. Behind it, the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord was still in control. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord split a wisp of his soul and nourished it with runes, deliberately allowing it to develop self-awareness. Then, another wisp of his soul monitored everything from behind, wanting to see how his successor would handle it. Lin Moyu said, "Weren't you afraid I wouldn't be able to handle it? After all, that was your soul, not easy to deal with." The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord looked at Lin Moyu. "I believed you could handle it, or rather, that person believed you could handle it." That person? Lin Moyu was startled, his first thought going to the mysterious master. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord said, "Your guess is correct, it is that person." Lin Moyu asked, "But what is the point of doing this?" The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord smiled, "That's for you to figure out." Lin Moyu asked, "Then why did you leave another wisp of your soul to watch from behind? What do you want to do?" The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord said, "Nothing, just curious." The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had long left this world and severed all connections with it. No matter how many remnants he left, they couldn't contact his main body, so satisfying his curiosity was actually unnecessary. But the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had a quirky personality, who knew what other thoughts he had. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord said, "All right, since you passed the test and obtained the Wood God Flower King, I will give you the inheritance." The Wood God Flower King is a rare treasure, effective for cultivators below the Supreme Realm. The most valuable aspect is that it can continuously produce clones, but the clones are only effective for those below the other shore realm, somewhat useless. Whether to absorb it directly or plant it in your soul to continuously harvest wood god flowers is up to you. As he spoke, the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord pointed, and the ancient rune in the starry sky transformed into a pearl, falling into Lin Moyu's hand. "This pearl contains the inheritance I left here. As for the next inheritance, you will know after you comprehend this one." "All right, my business is done. Before I leave, do you have any questions? Feel free to ask. This wisp of my soul knows quite a lot." Lin Moyu didn't hold back. Having just killed a wisp of his soul, there was no need to be polite. He directly asked, "Senior, how can the divine path be repaired?" Although Lin Moyu had received an answer from the mysterious master, he was still not satisfied and wanted to ask again. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord didn't hesitate and directly answered, "The divine path cannot be repaired. If it is damaged, it can only be rebuilt elsewhere." As he spoke, his gaze sparkled with starlight, looking into the distant starry sky. After a moment, he sighed, "All 100 divine paths are damaged, and no new paths have been built. It seems the current era is very difficult." Chapter 2072. 2072. Chapter 2072. 3 Methods to Build a New Divine Path. Sigh. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's sigh made Lin Moyu's heart sink to the bottom. This era is indeed very difficult. The world is on the brink of collapse. Lin Moyu couldn't help but want to ask the Heavenly Lord why all the Heavenly Lords had fled, abandoning their homeland so shamelessly. But in the end, he couldn't bring himself to say it. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord looked at Lin Moyu. "Do you know why there are only 100 divine paths?" Lin Moyu shook his head. How could he know such a thing? Probably no one in the current world could answer this question. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord said, "Because only 100 divine paths can be built." Lin Moyu was stunned on the spot. Only 100 divine paths could be built. What about himself? Why? Lin Moyu couldn't help but ask. Was there some special reason why only 100 divine paths could be built? The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord said, "You should have seen the runes of the greater world. The runes of the greater world are divided into 100 sub-runes, each representing a law, a great path, and simultaneously a divine path. Although there are countless great paths, and some say there are 3,000 great paths, the number 3 represents infinity. But in reality, there are only 100 great paths. The path of cultivation ultimately leads to the same destination. No matter which path you take, you will eventually converge at the runes of the greater world, which is the source of this world. The 100 great paths vary in strength, but as long as you keep moving forward, you will eventually have the chance to touch the runes of the greater world. Unfortunately, now that the divine paths are broken, they can no longer be touched." Lin Moyu asked, "Is there any other way?" The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord laughed heartily, "Of course there is. How could there be no other way? The Tao never leaves people without a path. In the beginning, our greater world had only one divine path. The subsequent 99 divine paths were built bit by various heavenly lords and supremes. You can naturally build a new divine path, and there is more than one method." Lin Moyu immediately asked, Please enlighten me, Senior. Each wisp of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's soul had its own personality. The one in the mysterious star secret realm was irritable, the one in the previous inheritance was straightforward, and the one he had killed was violent. The one before him now was calm and wise. Lin Moyu had already learned the method to build a new divine path from the mysterious master. Now, hearing it from the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, he wanted to compare and verify. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord said, the first method is to find a Heavenly Lord or a Peak Supreme, dismantle the already damaged divine path completely, and then rebuild it in the original place. The second method is to find a way to make the runes of the greater world evolve 101st Great Path rune, and then you can build a new rune. The third method is to build a divine path that directly reaches the runes of the greater world, but that is too difficult. We have never succeeded. Choose one of the three methods yourself. Lin Moyu asked, how can the runes of the greater world evolve a new Great Path rune? The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord said, devour other worlds and plunder the world's origin. Lin Moyu finally understood how the 100 Great Path runes of the greater world came to be. They were all obtained by plundering other worlds. Lin Moyu couldn't help but fall into deep thought. No wonder the illusory mist Heavenly Lord said the greater world itself bears too much karma. Plundering so many things and leaving the beings of those worlds alive without killing them. The karma naturally accumulates more and more, becoming unbearable until the greater world collapses. But now the greater world is extremely weak. If it encounters another world, unless it is very weak, it will be a disaster for the greater world. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord said, now you understand. Lin Moyu nodded, thank you for your guidance, Senior. I will try my best. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord said, your ability to obtain my inheritance proves your aptitude, luck, and talent are all excellent. I don't know what that person told you or what your goal is, but I can tell you that if things don't work out, you should make the right choice. The ultimate possibility lies within my inheritance. I hope you can obtain it. It's a pity, such a good greater world was ruined by us. We owe this world. With a sigh, the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord dissipated into the starry sky. As he disappeared, Lin Moyu felt a sense of desolation. The sigh was filled with helplessness, reluctance, and resignation. Having interacted with the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord multiple times, Lin Moyu found that his personality was different each time. He didn't know which one was the real Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. At least he learned the three methods to build a new divine path from the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, combined with the specific methods and materials needed from the mysterious master. Finally, he had a complete concept of how to build a new divine path. Outside the secret realm, everyone had been waiting for many days, and the competition had not yet begun. Everyone was waiting for a result, and they had all become very tacit. Even the human emperor network fell silent, seemingly waiting as well. Finally, the entrance to the secret realm changed. The originally slowly rotating vortex suddenly stopped. This change immediately caught everyone's attention. Under the gaze of tens of thousands of eyes, the vortex quickly collapsed, and within seconds, there was no trace of the vortex in the starry sky. The secret realm had disappeared. Where the secret realm once was, only Lin Moyu stood alone. He stood on the Star River of the Laws, like a king standing above the Star River of the Laws, overlooking everyone in the starry sky. An indescribable nobility spread and grew on Lin Moyu. At this moment, everyone had an illusion, as if they were inferior to Lin Moyu. They stood under the Star River of the Laws, while Lin Moyu stepped on it. The difference in status was self-evident. The secret realm has disappeared. He actually cleared the secret realm. How did he do it? What kind of combat power is this? Impossible. The wood god's secret realm cannot be cleared. Countless voices echoed in the starry sky. Some were amazed, some were in disbelief, and some were questioning. There were all kinds of reactions. Some wanted to ask Lin Moyu, but Yu Chengfeng stopped them first. Yu Chengfeng said in a low voice, Mr. Lin is not awake yet. Please do not disturb him. If you have any questions, ask later. He noticed that Lin Moyu was in a different state, so he stopped everyone. There were many peak god sovereigns present. Yu Chengfeng was not the strongest, but he was from the Yu family. They might not give him face, but they had to give face to Lady Yu. These god sovereigns also noticed Lin Moyu's different state and stopped. At this moment, a light appeared out of thin air and fell on Lin Moyu. The power of the human emperor network surged, interfering with reality. It isolated Lin Moyu from any disturbance. Lin Moyu's eyes were slightly closed. When the secret realm collapsed, he simultaneously received information from the Human Emperor Network. Please confirm, has the Wood God's secret realm disappeared? Please describe your experiences in the Wood God's secret realm. This time, the Human Emperor Network had not received any information about Lin Moyu's journey in the secret realm. Since the appearance of the Human Emperor Network, such a thing had never happened. Not only were the God Sovereigns curious, but even the Human Emperor Network was curious about what had happened in the secret realm. Regarding the inheritance of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, Lin Moyu did not hide it. Several Saint Sovereigns already knew, and so did the Human Emperor Network. Soon, the Human Emperor Network received the correct answer and learned what had happened in the secret realm. A city-wide announcement quickly appeared, once again shocking the world. Chapter 2073, 2073. Chapter 2073, We Were All Wrong. Divine City Announcement. Senior personnel Lin Moyu has successfully cleared the Wood God's secret realm. The massive announcement from the Divine City appeared on the Human Emperor Network. The news spread quickly, reaching every corner of the Divine City. All the God Sovereigns outside the secret realm received the information from the Human Emperor Network simultaneously. The Wood God's secret realm has been permanently closed. Only then did all the doubts completely disappear. All the God Sovereigns present looked at Lin Moyu in disbelief. Anyone's words could be doubted, but the Human Emperor Network's words were indisputable. Since the appearance of the Human Emperor Network, it had never spoken falsely. Lin Moyu slowly opened his eyes, his gaze sweeping over the God Sovereigns. Seniors, I apologize. Someone cupped their hands and asked, Lin Xiaoyu, may I ask if you have obtained the Wood God Flower King? Lin Moyu openly admitted, yes. He opened his palm, revealing a crystal-clear wood god flower composed of 12 petals, slowly rotating. The fragrance spread through the starry sky, and everyone felt their souls tremble, experiencing a refreshing sensation. Almost all the high-tier God Sovereigns had seen the Wood God Flower King, and their eyes were filled with admiration. They all desired the Wood God Flower King, but no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't obtain it. Some showed a hint of greed in their eyes but quickly suppressed it. They knew that anyone who tried to take the Wood God Flower King from Lin Moyu would be courting death. A peaked God Sovereign asked, Lin Xiaoyu, how did you obtain the Wood God Flower King? Lin Moyu replied, I have already informed the Human Emperor Network of the specific method. If you want to know, you can check it there. Immediately, someone communicated with the Human Emperor Network to check. The information was open to all God Sovereigns and was free of charge. With the Wood God's secret realm gone, there was no reason to charge for it. After checking the information, all the God Sovereigns showed conflicted expressions. They never expected such a result. We were all wrong. There were originally 2 methods to obtain the Wood God Flower in the secret realm, and we all used the wrong method. It's not that we used the wrong method, we never found the correct method. Many God Sovereigns seemed to be struck, realizing that their previous methods were all wrong after reading the secret realm strategy. Finding the Wood God Flower in the secret realm was not about luck but following a correct method. In the low and middle tier difficulties, the secret realm provided clear instructions, but no one had ever discovered them. In the high tier difficulty, the secret realm added rune elements and simultaneously tested combat power. Without being a rune master, it was impossible to clear the secret realm. If one only relied on time, the result was obvious, it was impossible to obtain the Wood God Flower King. Moreover, one had to clear the secret realm 10 times in a row. Lin Moyu's previous highest record was only 4 times, not even halfway, with a significant gap. Lin Moyu asked, does anyone have any other questions? Someone thought for a moment and asked, Lin Xiaoyu, do you plan to sell the Wood God Flower King? Lin Moyu shook his head, no. Hearing Lin Moyu's answer, the God Sovereigns were somewhat disappointed. They had cultivated for many years and were wealthy. If Lin Moyu intended to sell, they could offer a high price. However, Lin Moyu didn't want to sell, and they couldn't force him. Lin Moyu put away the Wood God Flower King. He hadn't decided whether to absorb it directly or plant it to harvest more Wood God flowers. Either way, he wouldn't sell the Wood God Flower King. Lin Moyu didn't lack Divine City merits, and they were no longer very useful to him. His level was already different from that of ordinary God Sovereigns. Seeing that no one had more questions, Lin Moyu said to Yu Chengfang, Senior Chengfang, I have some matters to attend to, so I'll take my leave. We shall meet again if fate allows. Yu Chengfang cupped his hands, safe travels, sir. I will remember this favor. Lin Moyu smiled slightly, threw out his warship, and left as a stream of light. As he disappeared, Yu Chengfeng received a soul transmission from Lin Moyu. Senior Chengfeng, if you return to the Yu family, please take care of Yu Zhu for me. After flying a distance in the warship, Lin Moyu quickly entered deep space. The warship wandered aimlessly in deep space, moving slowly. Lin Moyu sat in the warship, beginning to review the inheritance from the pearl and summarizing his gains from this trip. The trip to the Wood God's secret realm was very rewarding. First, he gained a deeper understanding of runes. Runes could not only be fused but also split. The split runes retained their original functions. Moreover, the split runes could be cross-combined. This made the combination of runes more diverse. Lin Moyu had seen some extremely complex rune formations on the ancient battlefield. At that time, he couldn't understand them, but now he realized that those rune formations were composed of split and rearranged runes. Such combinations made the rune formation stronger. Besides learning to split runes, he also discovered how to fine-tune runes, making his runes more perfect. The more perfect the runes, the stronger their effects, regardless of their use. A solid foundation results in a more stable structure. These two gains alone made the trip worthwhile, not to mention other rewards. The Wood God Flower King was a precious treasure. If he used it, his soul could be elevated to a higher level. After some thought, Lin Moyu decided to keep it for future use. If his soul could smoothly break through to the peak of the Saint Sovereign Realm, he could then use the power of the Wood God Flower King to impact the Supreme Realm. The Wood God Flower King was effective for souls below the Supreme Realm and could be used to impact the Supreme Realm. Once he reached the Supreme Realm, the Wood God Flower King would be useless. The information from the Inheritance Pearl continued to flow, not very large in volume, containing many methods for splitting runes. Additionally, it included how to use split runes to arrange rune formations. From simple to complex, various rune formations were provided, with many examples from the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord for Lin Moyu to reference. Lin Moyu found that the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's inheritance could be divided into several stages. The first stage, obtained in the Yunwu sect, had the largest amount of knowledge, including all rune information and detailed explanations of the way of runes. The information was so vast that it almost overwhelmed his soul. The second stage, in the Treasure Ship Secret Realm, taught Lin Moyu how to repair runes, create rune warehouses, and use runes to create ancient warriors. The third stage, in the Mysterious Star Secret Realm, provided the Inheritance Rune, a magical rune created by the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, along with the inheritance of a Supreme of the Starlight Law to prove the power of runes. The fourth stage, in the Wood God Secret Realm, taught Lin Moyu how to split runes and use split runes to arrange rune formations, making them more powerful. He also learned how to optimize runes and obtained the rare treasure, the Wood God Flower King. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord was indeed sincere in his inheritance. Each test came with rewards and inheritance. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord used his methods to teach his successor how to correctly learn and use runes. Now, Lin Moyu began to formally learn to split runes and use split runes to arrange rune formations. Only by completing the most difficult rune formation in this inheritance could he obtain information about the next inheritance. Chapter 2074, 2074. Chapter 2074, Still Feeling Perverted. There are a total of 10 rune formations, from easy to difficult, each one linked to the next. Splitting runes and then cross-combining them into rune formations is a very meticulous process. After reading through the Inheritance Pearl, Lin Moyu began to split the runes according to the methods described. He needed to determine where to split, where not to split, and how to ensure that the split runes retained their original functions. With his precise control abilities and extremely sensitive soul, Lin Moyu quickly mastered the correct method of splitting runes. For others, splitting runes was extremely difficult, but Lin Moyu quickly grasped it without spending much time. Moreover, he understood that mastering one method meant mastering many. He didn't just copy mechanically but learned and applied the methods flexibly, quickly mastering the splitting techniques for various runes. Now, just by looking at a rune, he could tell which parts could be split, how to split them, and whether the split rune would retain its original function or become weaker. After mastering the method of splitting runes, he officially began using the split runes to arrange rune formations. This was where the real difficulty began. Even in ancient times, not every rune master could master this method. Using split runes to combine and arrange formations allowed the runes to fuse more tightly, creating a structure where each part was interdependent. Once the formation was completed, it would become increasingly powerful and stable. Lin Moyu continuously learned and mastered the techniques, losing track of time and not caring where he was headed. The warship traveled through deep space for a while, then naturally returned to surface space, continuing its aimless journey. In the silent starry sky, the warship drifted slowly. Occasionally, an astonishing aura would burst from the warship, but most of the time, it was as still as dead water, without any movement. After the copper lizard race was exterminated, the human race directly targeted the Pegasus race. The battle lasted for some time. The human race first dispatched thousands of god sovereigns to launch a fierce attack on the Pegasus race. The Pegasus race seemed to have anticipated the human race's actions and immediately initiated strong defenses. They activated all available defensive formations and mobilized their entire army to blockade the starry sky of their entire star region. The human race encountered resistance within the Pegasus race. In terms of strength, the Pegasus race was far inferior to the human race. However, their pre-prepared defenses hindered the human race's advance, delaying them significantly. The War Saint Sovereign led the battle, worried about enemy ambushes from behind as the army advanced in the sealed space. He ordered the army to slow down the attack and sent a message back to the human race, requesting reinforcements. The nearest human army immediately took action, ensuring that the god sovereigns of the War God Hall had no worries about their rear. This delay caused the War God Hall's god sovereigns to advance very slowly, not attacking with full force. The Pegasus race took this time to seek help from nearby races. Several races did send reinforcements, but they had little impact. Facing the powerful human race, the support from these small races was meaningless. It wasn't until the Golden Eagle race's god sovereigns arrived to support the Pegasus race that the situation changed. The Golden Eagle race was a strong race, sending over 1,000 god sovereigns to cooperate with the Pegasus race in resisting the human god sovereigns. More than 10 races, large and small, joined forces to engage in fierce battles with the human god sovereigns on the front lines. The human race's advance was once again obstructed, even coming to a halt. Just when the Pegasus race thought the human race would retreat, the body of the Pegasus race leader suddenly appeared on the battlefield. The Killing Saint Sovereign had infiltrated the Pegasus race and assassinated their leader. For the Pegasus race, the death of their leader was a devastating blow. Unlike the human race, the leader of the Pegasus race was not only the core of power but also the spiritual core. With the leader's death, the Pegasus race nearly collapsed. At this moment, the human reinforcements arrived, led by the hot-tempered Sword Saint Sovereign. According to later reports, the Sword Saint Sovereign used a single sword strike to shatter the starry sky, completely destroying the Pegasus race's morale. That sword strike tore apart the defensive line established by the Pegasus race, leaving an indelible sword energy star river in the starry sky. After that, the human god sovereigns unleashed their full power, killing their way through. A million-strong army covered the rear, preventing any surprise attacks from behind. The Pegasus race attempted to lift the space blockade and activate teleportation arrays to escape. Only then did they realize that the space had been reverse-sealed by the human race, making escape impossible. Seeing the situation was hopeless, the Golden Eagle race withdrew their forces. With the Golden Eagle race's withdrawal, the fate of the Pegasus race was sealed. The entire battle lasted over 3 months, and the Pegasus race, like the Copper Lizard race, was ultimately wiped out by the human race. Perhaps some members of the Pegasus race managed to escape, but in the vast starry sky, finding a place to hide would be extremely difficult. Their only option was to flee to the outer regions. A sword energy cut through the starry sky, transforming into a brilliant star river. Months later, the sword energy still lingered, and the star river remained dazzling. The Sword Saint Sovereign's sword strike was incredibly brilliant, killing over 100 god sovereigns and shattering the Pegasus race's defenses. Several powerful Saint Sovereigns appeared in the starry sky, coming from different races, all converging here. The Demon race, the Golden Eagle race, the Bull Demon race. 3 Saint Sovereigns stood together, gazing at the sword energy star river, feeling the immense power within it. Very strong, already at the peak of the Saint Sovereign realm, just half a step away from the legendary realm. Although we all know that this half step is insurmountable, we must admit that the human Sword Saint Sovereign's combat power has reached the pinnacle of the other shore realm. I am not as strong as her. It would take at least 3 of us to fight her. The Sword Saint Sovereign is not the strongest Saint Sovereign of the human race. There are at least 2 others of equal strength. The human race's power is indeed far superior to ours. Alright, we've seen the Sword Energy Star River. Now we need to discuss how to deal with the human race. This will be difficult. The Sword Energy Star River left by the Sword Saint Sovereign indicated that her combat power had reached the pinnacle of the other shore realm. The Saint Sovereigns knew that the strongest in the human race were the Heaven Saint Sovereign and the War Saint Sovereign. The House Saint Sovereign and the Sword Saint Sovereign were next, followed by the Killing Saint Sovereign. As for the newly promoted Talisman Saint Sovereign, his combat power was not as strong, possibly even weaker than the Killing Saint Sovereign. Among the Saint Sovereigns, there were significant differences in strength. Ordinary Saint Sovereigns would need to join forces to contend with beings like the War Saint Sovereign. Now that the Sword Saint Sovereign's combat power had also reached the pinnacle of the other shore realm, it was not good news for the other races. They understood that in a war between races, the key was the confrontation between the top combat powers. Once, when the human race was on the brink of extinction, Xiaozantian emerged and single-handedly repelled the other races. This was the power of top combat strength. They began to discuss how to deal with the human race. It was clear that the human race was determined to seek revenge, and no one knew when they would stop. They needed to come up with a comprehensive strategy to respond. Lin Moyu's warship drifted in the starry sky for a whole year. Lin Moyu continuously split runes and arranged rune formations, experimenting repeatedly, failing repeatedly, summarizing each time, and then experimenting again, in a continuous cycle. Since he started working with runes, Lin Moyu had rarely failed. Occasional failures didn't affect his mood, instead, they fueled his desire to challenge. Splitting runes wasn't difficult, and arranging rune formations wasn't difficult either, but cross-combining them increased the difficulty several times over. According to the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, mastering rune splitting within 100 years and mastering cross-combining rune formations within 1,000 years was considered qualified. Lin Moyu had mastered rune splitting in just a few days, and now, after a year, he had mastered about 90% of the rune formations. Such talent made even himself feel a bit perverted. Chapter 2075. Chapter 2075. Understanding the differences in runes. Lin Moyu recalled something the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had once told him: "You were born for runes." At that time, Lin Moyu didn't feel much, but now he thought the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord was right. He didn't know how long it took the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord to learn to split runes and then use the split runes to form complex rune formations. But he felt that the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord wouldn't have been faster than him. Finally, the last rune was split. A rune was split into 3 parts, seemingly disassembled, but it still retained its original function. Lin Moyu used his soul power to maintain the rune. Then, with a light touch of his finger, he pushed the split runes into a rune formation. The 3 split rune fragments entered different areas of the rune formation. The soul link remained unbroken. Not only was it unbroken, but the rune formation also combined together. The rune formation was originally composed of split runes, all interconnected by soul power. When the last rune entered, the rune formation instantly became complete. Not only could the split runes combine to form new runes, but the intertwining of soul power also greatly enhanced this connection. In an instant, the rune formation became ever-changing. The rune formation activated, accompanied by a strong rumbling sound, and suddenly shrank. All the split runes combined together, forming a 3-dimensional complex rune. Lin Moyu reached out and absorbed the rune into his palm, carefully observing it. The 3-dimensional rune should belong to the category of ancient runes, but it was a rune formation, not an ancient rune. Lin Moyu naturally understood that not only ancient runes could be 3-dimensional, some complex runes could also be 3-dimensional. For example, runes related to the laws of time and space were basically all 3-dimensional runes. At the same time, some rune formations could also be 3-dimensional. The rune formation in his palm was like this, with a hint of ancient rune aura. The function of this rune formation was containment, with an internal space of its own, named the containment rune formation. Used on enemies, it could trap them. Used on oneself, it could provide shelter. Used on objects, it could store them. The internal space of the containment rune formation was extremely large. Lin Moyu felt it could hold an entire galaxy. Moreover, once activated, this rune formation could hide itself, making it very secretive and hard to detect. Previously, the second wisp of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's soul was hidden using a similar rune formation, though the Heavenly Lord's method was far more advanced. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had thought of everything. Lin Moyu looked at the rune formation, his eyes growing brighter. So that's how it is, I understand now. He suddenly realized why the ancient runes of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord could still exist independently even when shattered into pieces, sometimes evolving into secret realms. But the ancient runes mastered by the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord did not have this ability. Once scattered, they were gone. Previously, he always thought it was because the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's realm was higher, hence the difference. Now he finally understood that the root cause was not the difference in realms. The root cause lay in the different methods of drawing ancient runes. The Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord applied the method of splitting runes within the ancient runes. What seemed like a complete ancient rune was actually composed of countless split runes. These split runes could combine to form ancient runes and rune formations, or they could exist independently. Moreover, the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord split the runes very finely. A single ancient rune could be split into thousands or tens of thousands of fragments. Each seemingly scattered fragment could exist independently, which is why the ancient runes could collapse without being annihilated. The Heavenly Lord is indeed a Heavenly Lord, far beyond my current reach. Though he understood, Lin Moyu knew he didn't yet have the ability to do these things. However, after mastering the method of splitting runes, he gained a deeper understanding of the rune formations left on the ancient battlefield. Lin Moyu's mind returned, and he woke up. The rune formation in his palm was still glowing. Lin Moyu took out the inheritance pearl given by the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord and placed it into the rune formation. The pearl immediately emitted a strong light, and a rune on the pearl lit up, resonating with Lin Moyu's rune formation. Lin Moyu knew this was a method left by the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, only activatable with this rune formation. The inheritance pearl was fully activated, and a piece of information entered Lin Moyu's mind. Then the inheritance pearl turned to powder and completely dissipated. Lin Moyu looked at the information content, showing a strange expression. This inheritance is in the outer region. Lin Moyu had thought the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had placed all his inheritances in the Divine City Star region, as the ancient warriors had fallen there. The many secret realms in the Divine City Star region were all transformed from the ancient runes of the ancient warriors, making it the most suitable place for the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord to set up. Unexpectedly, the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord had placed an inheritance in the outer region. The Heavenly Lord's thoughts are hard to guess. Then I'll make a trip. Fortunately, it's not too far. But before I go, I'll visit the ancient battlefield. Lin Moyu had a plan. He wanted to revisit the ancient battlefield to examine the remaining rune formations. With his current understanding of runes, he might be able to discover more clues. Lin Moyu had never forgotten the ancient battlefield, where there was a suspected divine summer tower, which was related to Meng Anwen. Lin Moyu wanted to know what was going on. He couldn't return to the small world, and Antares hadn't come out yet. The whole matter was like a huge mystery, always shrouding him, making it hard to see clearly. Lin Moyu checked the star map and found he was still drifting in the outer region of the Divine City, about 2,000 light-years from the nearest ancient battlefield. Traveling through deep space, it wouldn't take half a day to get there. Suddenly, a light fell on the warship, and Lin Moyu heard the voice of the Human Emperor Network. "Have you finished your cultivation?" Lin Moyu was stunned for a moment. The Human Emperor Network had actually interfered with reality. The Human Emperor Network rarely directly communicated with people, usually just sending messages. Now it was directly interfering with reality to talk to him, clearly indicating something important. Previously, while he was cultivating, the Human Emperor Network hadn't disturbed him. Now that he had finished cultivating, the Human Emperor Network had come. Lin Moyu responded, "Temporarily finished. What's the matter?" "The House Saint Sovereign has something to discuss with you. Please enter the Human Emperor Network." Lin Moyu immediately entered the Human Emperor Network. In the network, his consciousness appeared in a virtual starry sky. A great battle was taking place in the starry sky, with the human army fighting against enemies. "What is this?" Lin Moyu immediately saw that the enemies fighting the human race were demons. There couldn't be a war in the Human Emperor Network, so this scene must have been transmitted from reality. In reality, the human race was fighting the demons. At this moment, the figure of the House Saint Sovereign appeared before Lin Moyu, looking slightly serious. "I have something to tell you. The various races have formed an alliance and declared war on the human race." Lin Moyu's eyes flickered. As expected, striking first is the right choice. The House Saint Sovereign looked at Lin Moyu. "You anticipated this?" Lin Moyu nodded, it was bound to happen. As long as we don't stop seeking revenge, they will eventually declare war on us. I estimated that after we exterminated 3 to 5 small races, they would form an alliance and declare war on us. Now that we've exterminated the copper lizard race and likely the Pegasus race, it's normal for them to declare war on us. The Human Emperor Network's voice suddenly sounded, he is correct. Based on calculations, the probability of the various races forming an alliance and declaring war on us exceeds 80%. The House Saint Sovereign looked at Lin Moyu, explain your thoughts in detail. Chapter 2076. 2076. Chapter 2076. My human race is either friend or foe. Lin Moyu had long anticipated that once the human race took action, the various races would quickly realize that the human race was beginning its revenge. If they only targeted 1 or 2 races, it would be fine. But if they targeted more, the various races would quickly form alliances to collectively resist the human race. They might even attempt to recreate the events of 100,000 years ago, foolishly thinking they could invade the human race again. No matter what the human race chose, as long as they sought revenge, they would inevitably face alliances of various races. It was only a matter of time. If Lin Moyu were in charge, he would have handled things differently. After crippling the silver race, he would have taken advantage of the chaos caused by the soul-devouring race to eliminate another strong race. Even if the human race had to pay a price, it would be better than facing the allied forces of the strong races now. However, at that time, the Saint Sovereigns did not share their detailed plans with Lin Moyu, so he did not offer his own ideas. Lin Moyu said, if I'm not mistaken, although the various races have formed an alliance, this alliance is currently superficial and very fragile. The allied forces of the various races are just for show, they won't truly attack the human race with full force. The House Saint Sovereign nodded, indeed, it's just for show. They probably need more time. Forming an alliance among dozens or even hundreds of races is a major event. There are many things to discuss, such as how many troops each race will contribute, how to distribute benefits, and which targets to attack. Lin Moyu shook his head, the time can be long or short, depending on our human race's response. Their main goal is to suppress us, making us unable to focus on other matters and preventing us from targeting smaller races. The House Saint Sovereign agreed with Lin Moyu's assessment, indeed, such suppression might not have much effect. Lin Moyu shook his head, it will have an effect. How long has the battle been going on, and where is it mainly concentrated? The House Saint Sovereign replied, currently, it's mainly concentrated in the Vermilion Bird Star region and the associated Vermilion Bird battlefield. The main force is the demon race, along with some smaller races, but the pressure is not significant. So far, the God Sovereigns have not taken the field. The battle has been ongoing for about 3 months, with 12 engagements between our forces. Lin Moyu thought for a moment, if I'm not mistaken, within a year, other star regions will also see battles, including their associated battlefields. Since they want to suppress us, they won't focus on just one star region. Tell the cultivators in the various battlefields to be cautious. If they can return, they should. With the various races forming alliances, the human race faces enemies everywhere. The human army is naturally unafraid, but for individual human cultivators acting alone in various battlefields, it becomes very dangerous. Lin Moyu continued, moreover, the suppression is just on the surface. The pressure shouldn't be too great, but if we dare to target another race, they will mobilize their armies to force us back. At the same time, we won't be able to obtain resources from the battlefields, which will slow down our race's development. The House Saint Sovereign agreed with Lin Moyu's view, what do you think we should do? The Saint Sovereigns must have already discussed countermeasures. Lin Moyu was just offering his opinion, unsure if it would be adopted. After thinking for a few seconds, Lin Moyu said, the first thing to do is to ensure that cultivators in the battlefields do not act alone. However, they should not stop acting altogether, they can form teams and act collectively. I believe the various races will also form teams to act together. Since that's the case, we don't need resources, we can just kill them. At the same time, we can send cultivators from the star regions to the battlefields. The Human Emperor Network can issue missions to hunt down members of the various races. If they cut off our resources, we'll kill their people. As long as we kill them, their resources become ours. If it comes to it, we'll all go down together, and no one will benefit. It can be foreseen that although the 4 battlefields are not the main battle areas, they will become slaughterhouses, with corpses strewn everywhere. Human cultivators can train in these areas, gaining a lot of combat experience. The House Saint Sovereign's eyes lit up. That's a good idea. Lin Moyu continued, the second thing is to find a way to have the starfish race modify some more warships for us. We can pay a price, but I estimate that after some time, the starfish race will no longer help us. The House Saint Sovereign frowned, immediately understanding why. Although the starfish race currently has a good relationship with the human race, there are no eternal interests in the world. Facing the allied forces of the various races, the starfish race will inevitably choose neutrality and stand by. Not only them, but several other races will also do the same. Now is the time to choose sides. Lin Moyu said, the third thing is to notify the races that have a good relationship with us and let them choose. If they are willing to stand with the human race, they should move to a designated area. However, I think most will choose neutrality. In that case, remember this for future reckoning. The House Saint Sovereign frowned, is this appropriate? Lin Moyu's tone became serious. To be honest, in the greater world, the human race is either friend or foe. Lin Moyu knew that to save the greater world, the first step was to sever the karmic ties. These were the karmic ties between the various races and the greater world. If they couldn't be severed, any effort he made would be in vain. And the only way to sever these ties was to exterminate the various races. Fortunately, there were not many races with good relationships with the human race, only 3 to 5. The starfish race was among them. Of course, there were also some neutral races. Even if they didn't participate in the war, Lin Moyu would still consider them enemies. Among the 3 to 5 friendly races, only the butterfly race had always stood firmly with the human race. The others were once neutral and later became friendly with the human race. Now Lin Moyu knew they would inevitably choose neutrality again. In the end, only the butterfly race would remain. In his eyes, the starfish race couldn't be considered a separate race because they came from a certain heavenly lord and were not truly alien. The House Saint Sovereign wanted to say something, but Lin Moyu interrupted him. Senior, I know you have doubts, but trust me, they cannot be allowed to live. The House Saint Sovereign seemed to realize something. I understand. Lin Moyu said, the fourth thing is that our human race should temporarily refrain from taking action. At this point, exterminating 1 or 2 races is meaningless. Let them think we are being suppressed. This battle will last a long time, possibly hundreds or thousands of years, but there's no need to rush. We still have time. Consider it a large-scale training for our entire race. I believe that in the midst of war, the human race will only grow stronger. The House Saint Sovereign said, I understand your point. I will convey it to the Heaven Saint Sovereign and the War Saint Sovereign to see what they think. Lin Moyu asked, I just checked the information on the Human Emperor Network. Did the Sword Saint Sovereign take action in the battle against the Pegasus race? The House Saint Sovereign knew what Lin Moyu was really asking about. He wasn't asking about the Sword Saint Sovereign but about his sister, Lin Mohan. The House Saint Sovereign said, your sister is doing well. She is currently training with the Sword Saint Sovereign, who is not holding back. The Sword Saint Sovereign said Lin Mohan is very suited to the way of the sword. In the future, she will be the sharpest sword of the human race. Lin Moyu said, I never intended for her to become the sword of the human race. If there's a need to charge, it should be me, not her. Take good care of her. If anything happens to her, I don't know what I might do. The House Saint Sovereign knew the deep bond between the siblings. Don't worry, she will be fine. Chapter 2077. 2077. Chapter 2077. Did Meng Anwen travel through time? Lin Moyu didn't know if his suggestions would be useful, and he didn't dwell on it, letting things take their natural course. Having seen a broader sky, Lin Moyu had long developed his own set of ideas. In fact, it was very simple and didn't require any strategy. He believed that as long as he reached the Saint Sovereign realm, his undead army would sweep across all races. Unless a supreme appeared among the various races, no one would be able to stop him. Even if they had hidden strengths, it would be useless. A strong fist is the hard truth. All kinds of schemes are as fragile as paper in the face of absolute strength. After leaving the Human Emperor Network, Lin Moyu activated his warship and headed to the nearest ancient battlefield. The warship advanced silently in deep space, and Lin Moyu didn't waste half a day's time, starting to fine-tune the runes. All the runes he mastered needed to be fine-tuned to bring each rune to its most perfect state. In the future, when drawing runes, he could achieve the best results. Lin Moyu tirelessly fine-tuned each rune. He knew this was also a form of accumulation. Each fine-tuning was a validation of his understanding of runes. While fine-tuning the runes, he didn't forget to multitask, continuing the starlight refining method to condense stars one by one. At this moment, there were already dozens of stars in his soul world. These stars were distributed throughout the soul world, shining with starlight, making the entire soul world look like a real starry sky. Half a day later, the warship emerged from deep space, and Lin Moyu left the warship, stepping on the star river of the starlight law to walk the last stretch. Although deep space travel was fast, its precision was poor. A deviation of tens of millions of kilometers was normal, and in extreme cases, it could be tens of millions or even 100 million kilometers off. Fortunately, for him now, even 100 million kilometers was just a matter of seconds. The ancient battlefield remained silent, and Lin Moyu stood above it, scanning the area. In the battlefield, a broken high tower was very conspicuous. Its appearance was 80 to 90% similar to the Divine Summer Tower, and the tower was covered with runes. Not only on the tower body, but the runes also connected to the ground, linking the entire ancient battlefield. The ancient battlefield was actually a war weapon. After many years, returning again, Lin Moyu's realm had improved, and his understanding of runes was different from before. With his current perspective, he indeed saw many different scenes. Some parts of the ancient battlefield used the method of splitting runes, but not many. It indeed looks like the work of my teacher. Lin Moyu entered the ancient battlefield and quickly found the core of the battlefield through its gaps. The core had been destroyed, yielding little result. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry. He left the ancient battlefield and then flew to the next one. In the Divine City Star region, there were a total of 999 ancient battlefields. Over 700 were in the primary area, and the remaining 300 were in the intermediate and advanced areas. Lin Moyu planned to observe more ancient battlefields and compare their formations. Each battlefield's formation had different points and degrees of destruction. By comparing more, he could restore the complete formation. During the 4-star region's competition, the formation that generated puppets and endowed them with intelligence was restored from the ancient battlefields. Later, Lin Moyu also obtained this formation but found it of little use. The limitations were too many, and it was incomplete. Besides the formations, Lin Moyu was more curious about why Meng Anwen's Divine Summer Tower appeared here. What was the relationship between the two? Lin Moyu observed one ancient battlefield after another, from the primary area to the intermediate area, and then to the advanced area. After examining dozens of ancient battlefields, he finally made another discovery. In this ancient battlefield in the intermediate area, the formation was also 70 to 80% destroyed. Only a small part in front of Lin Moyu remained relatively intact. Lin Moyu looked at the runes before him with a very complex expression. This is a time law rune. This rune was also partially destroyed, but Lin Moyu still recognized it at a glance as a time law rune. Time law runes were rarely used in formations unless the formation was related to time. After examining so many ancient battlefields, Lin Moyu roughly understood the purpose of the formations within them. The first purpose was to absorb energy and create energy-constructed puppet warriors. The second was to endow these puppets with simple intelligence, allowing them to follow commands in battle. Now he had discovered a third purpose: time law runes. This formation actually involved the time law, completely beyond Lin Moyu's imagination. This formation is already quite complex and powerful. If the time law is added, how strong would it become? What role does the time law play? Lin Moyu had always felt that the timeline of the ancient battlefield was very chaotic. The ancient battlefield seemed to be related to ancient wars, and there was a message left by Meng Anwen, making him 100% sure that the ancient battlefield was related to Meng Anwen. Now, seeing the time law rune and recalling the power of time and space that had erupted outside the small world, Lin Moyu suddenly had a bold guess. Could it be that my teacher traveled through time, crossing the river of time, and returned to ancient times? Lin Moyu felt this was not impossible. He himself had traveled from another world, and the river of time truly existed, so it might be possible to cross it. Besides this, he couldn't think of any other way to explain what he saw in the ancient battlefield. In the end, it's still because of insufficient strength. Lin Moyu sighed lightly and stopped dwelling on the issue. The warship re-entered deep space, about to embark on a long journey. He was heading to the outer region, to the next inheritance site of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord. He continued to fine-tune the runes while constantly refining starlight and gathering stars. Not only multitasking, but Lin Moyu also used his mind in 3 ways, continuously drawing runes with his soul, splitting them, and combining them into formations. Along the way, his understanding of runes deepened, and unconsciously, Lin Moyu felt his realm was also improving. He felt he could advance further in the Star River of the Laws, reaching the 3rd tier of the God-Sovereign realm without any problem. However, his progress in the time and space laws was limited, so he hadn't advanced his realm yet. My accumulation is deep enough. It seems that after this trip, I need to go into seclusion for a while. Lin Moyu felt he was too busy, always having endless tasks at hand. During the voyage, the warship suddenly stopped. Deep space was sealed, and Lin Moyu realized he might have entered the territory of a certain race. At this time, with the various races allied and at war with the human race, all races had entered a wartime state, fully activating their defense systems. Some small races, though weak, also had complete defense systems. Once activated, they could seal deep space. The warship surfaced into normal space, and Lin Moyu scanned the area. Indeed, he had entered the territory of an alien race, a star region belonging to the Qinghe race. This race was characterized by its speed, somewhat similar to the Golden Eagle race but not as strong. They had once invaded the human race and were later crippled by Shaozantian. They had stolen many things from the human race, including formations that could seal deep space. They were very weak, without even a single other shore realm being. They had many god sovereigns, but they were useless. This place was far from the demon race and the Golden Eagle race. Lin Moyu took out 2 formation discs, a hint of coldness in his eyes. Bad luck for you. Chapter 2078. 2078. Chapter 2078. Truly barren. Lin Moyu put away his warship and activated the 2 formation discs in his hand. In an instant, the starry sky for millions of miles was enveloped by an invisible force, making the space incredibly solid and subjected to 3 layers of sealing. The first layer was the space-locking formation set by the Qinghe race themselves. The second layer was the space-locking formation set by Lin Moyu, which was even stronger. The third layer cut off all communication methods within the range of the formation. This kind of sealing could be sensed by any god sovereign, but Lin Moyu had no intention of hiding himself. He boldly charged in. He used the 3-light talisman to increase his speed to 27 million kilometers per second, far surpassing that of a god sovereign and almost equivalent to the other shore realm. Under the space sealing, the warship could not navigate through deep space or jump within the sealed space. This highlighted the difference between the laws of space and the warship. The warship's space jumps relied on space formations, which were relatively rigid. Although they were easy to use and could continuously absorb energy from the starry sky, they were helpless when encountering space sealing. However, Lin Moyu's mastery of the laws of space allowed him to adapt to the space, making him immune to the sealing. In just a few seconds, Lin Moyu adapted to the space and disappeared into the starry sky. A star system of the Qinghe race appeared before him, located at the edge, with a military presence on the outskirts. The military was clearly on high alert, sensing the unusual space sealing. Large green cranes floated in the starry sky, arranged in formation, ready for battle. There were many of them, at least 100,000. At the forefront were 3 god sovereign level green cranes. Their massive green wings, tens of meters wide, flapped continuously in the starry sky, exuding battle intent. So, there are god sovereigns. With god sovereigns present, Lin Moyu knew his actions would not go unnoticed. But so what? He had come openly, with no intention of hiding. He was here to kill, to slaughter his way through. Seeing Lin Moyu, the 3 god sovereign level green cranes were visibly stunned. A human, a second-tier god sovereign, alone. They were puzzled. How could a second-tier god sovereign dare to barge in alone? Then they seemed to realize something, their faces changing drastically as they shouted, "It's Lin Moyu of the human race, run!" Hearing the name Lin Moyu, the Qinghe army collapsed on the spot, turning to flee. Even the 3 god sovereigns did the same, fleeing the fastest. Lin Moyu chuckled, "Is my reputation that big?" Just his name caused the Qinghe army to collapse, which was quite amusing. They fled, but they couldn't escape. Lin Moyu lightly tapped his finger, and the bone hell appeared, enveloping millions of miles of starry sky, trapping the entire Qinghe army within. Hellfire erupted like a volcano, and hellish fiends rushed out, tearing and devouring the Qinghe people. Blood flowed into the river of hellfire, making it surge more violently, and the flames on the river burned even more fiercely. Screams filled the air as countless Qinghe people died. The Bone Hell was an unparalleled weapon against such weak armies. With just one spell, Lin Moyu didn't need to do anything else. Even the three god sovereigns held in agony under the bites of the hellish fiends. Lin Moyu didn't bother to look at the outcome, it was already decided and meaningless. He looked at the star system, which was small, with only one star and 3 planets. One was a habitable planet with many buildings. The other 2 were resource planets, providing resources for the station soldiers. At this moment, many Qinghe soldiers were flying out of the habitable planet, startled by the god sovereign's shout. It was too late for them to escape. The Bone Hell didn't spare them, enveloping the planet as well. The hellish fiends devoured the Qinghe people, leaving the planet intact. Planets were resources and couldn't be wasted. Let's try my new rune formation. Lin Moyu took out a brand new rune formation from the treasure ship's warehouse, the containment rune formation he had mastered from the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord's inheritance. He had drawn many containment rune formations and stored them in the treasure ship's warehouse. He activated one, and the containment rune formation expanded in the starry sky, enveloping a planet. The planet disappeared, absorbed into the rune formation. He could sense the planet within the rune formation, which had a vast space. A single planet occupied only a small part of it, so absorbing an entire star system was no problem. Not bad, not bad. Lin Moyu controlled the rune formation, packing up the other 2 planets and the star. In the blink of an eye, the star system disappeared. The rune formation had endless uses, and the way of runes was vast and boundless. Lin Moyu had only scratched the surface. The battle ended quickly, with no survivors and no information leaks. The other star systems of the Qinghe race had no idea what had happened here. Lin Moyu stepped on the star river of the laws, guided by starlight, heading to the nearest star system. Lin Moyu moved unimpeded, and wherever the Bone Hell went, no one survived. One star system after another disappeared as Lin Moyu used the containment rune formation to pack them all up. He severed the karmic ties thoroughly. He was doing this not only to save the greater world but also to save himself, his friends and family, and the human race. There was no conflict between the other shore realms. Lin Moyu knew that in many eyes, his methods were cruel and unaccepted. Even the resolute House Saint Sovereign raised an eyebrow when he heard Lin Moyu say, friend or foe. But the House Saint Sovereign didn't stop him because he knew Lin Moyu was right. Lin Moyu's determination surpassed even that of the Saint Sovereigns. Once he decided on something, he wouldn't easily change. With no other shore realm in the Qinghe race, no one could stop Lin Moyu. Moreover, with the triple space ceiling, the distant Qinghe race had no idea what was happening here. Lin Moyu encountered no significant resistance along the way. The only notable encounter was an 8th-tier god sovereign, who was killed by the Legion commander with one slash, and his body fed to the hellish fiends. After devouring a large amount of flesh and blood, the hellish fiends grew stronger, but they were still far from reaching the 8th-tier god sovereign level. After reaching the high-tier god sovereign level, devouring lower-level beings had little effect. They needed to devour high-tier god sovereigns or higher. It was foreseeable that the growth of the Bone Hell would become increasingly difficult. After all, there were not many high-tier god sovereigns, and the Bone Hell needed thousands, not just 1 or 2. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry. One day, it would have enough to eat. 3 months later, Lin Moyu packed up another star system and stored the containment rune formation in the treasure ship's warehouse. He looked into the distance. The Qinghe race has a total of 120 star systems. I've already destroyed 60, half of them. Let's continue. The path Lin Moyu walked left no star systems behind, completely clean. This was truly barren. Chapter 2079. 2079. Chapter 2079. The reward given by the greater world. The process of drawing rune formations is also a process of learning and mastering runes. Every rune master needs to spend a lot of time familiarizing themselves with their runes and rune formations. Lin Moyu continuously drew the containment rune formation along the way. Gradually, the containment rune formation became increasingly perfect, and the drawing process became faster and faster. From initially taking half an hour to draw one, it later took only 10 minutes to complete. However, 10 minutes was still too slow. In the first inheritance of the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord, it was mentioned that the ultimate state of a rune master should be, one thought, 10,000 runes. As long as the thought arises, the runes should be drawn. But reaching this state is very difficult. Even the Holy Talisman Heavenly Lord himself only touched this realm. For some simple runes, the holy talisman Heavenly Lord could achieve, one thought, 10,000 runes, but for more complex runes, it was still not possible. According to him, this realm would be the strongest state of a rune master. If he could fully achieve it, he might be able to take another step and touch the elusive realm of the Tao Sovereign. One thought, 10,000 runes, this realm is too distant, and Lin Moyu temporarily did not think about it. He had seen the holy talisman Heavenly Lord instantly deploy rune formations, using a large number of runes. Previously, he thought that after reaching the Saint Sovereign realm, he could instantly draw runes. Later, he learned that the holy talisman Heavenly Lord also had a treasure similar to the treasure ship. Usually, he stored the drawn runes inside, and when needed, he directly called them out. Over the past few months, the drawing speed of the containment rune formation not only increased, but its effectiveness also improved, directly manifesting as an increasingly larger internal space. Containing star systems was no problem. Even if some star systems had 10 stars and extremely large stars, the containment rune could still store them. 7 months later, Lin Moyu left the star region of the former Qinghe race. The formation seals were removed, and the starry sky completely returned to normal. The warship sank into deep space, continuing to fly towards the outer region. The starry sky that once belonged to the Qinghe race was quiet and empty, the entire starry sky plunged into deathly silence. Lin Moyu not only exterminated the entire Qinghe race but also packed up their planets. At this moment, the treasure ship's warehouse was filled with over 100 containment rune formations, each containing a star system. A total of 121 star systems, with hundreds of planets of various sizes. The Qinghe race was gone, their people gone, and their home gone. Lin Moyu sat in the warship, with a look of surprise and a bit of excitement on his face. At the same time, he exuded a mysterious aura, an aura he had seen before, belonging to the state of enlightenment. Just now, he had experienced a state of enlightenment. Even Lin Moyu found it strange. He clearly did nothing, yet he inexplicably entered a state of enlightenment. Until the enlightenment ended, he didn't know why. The enlightenment didn't last long, only a day's time, but for Lin Moyu, the gains were immense. Why? Lin Moyu always liked to understand the ins and outs of everything, especially after understanding the cause and effect, he wanted to know why. He began to recall, from before the enlightenment began, not missing any detail or feeling. Mainly the feelings, Lin Moyu was sure he did nothing, no issues in his actions. Before the enlightenment, he felt an inexplicable sense of relief, a feeling of being unburdened. But this feeling lasted only a moment, less than half a second. Lin Moyu murmured, "Why did I feel relieved? Could it be because of the long-term battle, making me feel tired? It's not impossible. After killing so many along the way, feeling a bit tired is normal." Then I felt a peculiar aura. In hindsight, that aura felt familiar. Lin Moyu's eyes suddenly lit up. He knew where that aura came from. It was the aura of the Greater World Rune, something he had felt before. The Greater World Rune had once descended with a curse, preventing him from advancing. The Greater World Rune descended, but this time it wasn't a curse, it was a reward. Why reward me? Is it because of the Qinghe race? That's right, it's because of the Qinghe race. Lin Moyu finally understood. He exterminated the Qinghe race, seemingly causing endless killing, but for the Greater World Rune, it was a good thing. The Greater World Rune doesn't distinguish between right and wrong, good and evil. It only distinguishes between what is beneficial or harmful to itself. Clearly, what he did was beneficial to the Greater World Rune. The Greater World Rune was now burdened with karma, overwhelmed, and the Qinghe race was one of them. He was actually reducing its burden. The Greater World Rune was fair. If you did something beneficial to it, it would naturally reward you. So he entered a state of enlightenment, experiencing something that many cultivators could not achieve in a lifetime. Before entering the state of enlightenment, Lin Moyu summoned the star rivers of the time and space laws. After entering the state of enlightenment, his vision fell into the boundless void, beginning to comprehend the laws. In a whole day of enlightenment, he gained immense benefits. The Greater World Rune seemed to know what he wanted. The star rivers of the time and space laws flowed endlessly before his eyes, with a large amount of comprehension flowing into his soul. The laws of time and space steadily improved during the enlightenment. When the mastery of both laws reached 20%, they began to merge again. This time, the fusion was smooth, without the constant conflicts that had previously caused the cultivation room in the Divine City to explode. In the state of enlightenment, everything became mysterious. Everyone desires enlightenment. One instance of enlightenment is worth hundreds or even thousands of years of cultivation. Many cultivators stuck at bottlenecks, unable to break through in their lifetime, hope for an instance of enlightenment to help them break through. Unfortunately, enlightenment is rare and elusive. Most cultivators will never experience it. Lin Moyu had already experienced enlightenment 3 times, enough to make anyone envious. As the laws of time and space improved and completed their fusion, Lin Moyu knew he could advance. He left deep space, exited the warship, and stood in the starry sky. This was a void, with nothing within billions of miles. With a thought, the star rivers of the laws appeared. The star river of the undying law, as Lin Moyu's life law, was closest to him. Below it were the star rivers of the time and space laws, running parallel, neither above nor below the other. At the bottom was the star river of the starlight law, emitting a soft glow, illuminating the other 3 star rivers. Lin Moyu took a step forward, his body entering the star river of the undying law. The undying law turned into a giant wave, rolling towards him. When it touched him, the wave suddenly calmed. He was already a second-tier god sovereign, having walked through the first 2 stages. Within this range, the star river of the laws would not obstruct him. Moments later, he reached the position he had previously reached, standing steadily. This position represented about 20% of the star river of the laws, corresponding to his realm, the second tier of the god sovereign. He continued forward, and the giant wave of the laws suddenly became fierce, no longer calm, like giant hands slapping him, trying to knock him down. Lin Moyu ignored the giant wave, continuing to walk forward step by step. The further he walked, the fiercer the giant wave became. In the vast star river of the laws, only Lin Moyu was walking, looking both brave and lonely. Step by step, his body shone with a brilliant purple gold light, never stopping. Until he walked through 30%, he finally stopped again. His aura continuously rose, and the giant wave of the laws also calmed. I've advanced. Lin Moyu sighed lightly. Although it was expected, he was still pleased. Chapter 2080, 2080. Chapter 2080, The Silently Disappearing Race. Lin Moyu advanced smoothly from the second tier of the god sovereign realm to the third tier. Lin Moyu didn't expect that exterminating the Qinghe race would actually allow him to advance in level. He recalled that when he exterminated the copper lizard race, he didn't receive any rewards. Now he realized that it was mainly because the extermination of the copper lizard race wasn't solely his doing. At least, he didn't kill the copper lizard king, and the human god sovereigns were also involved. The greater world is rewarding based on merit. A smile appeared on Lin Moyu's lips as he tested his spells. The skeleton generals finally reached the high-tier god sovereign level. Even though they had just stepped into the high-tier god sovereign level, the appearance of the power of rules still greatly enhanced their combat power. The Death Dragon Knights reached the 8th tier of the god sovereign level. Under the command of the Legion commander, they could gather the power of the Legion to reach the 9th tier of the god sovereign level. These changes were within Lin Moyu's expectations. The Skeleton King remained at the 9th tier of the god sovereign level, slightly stronger than before, but still hadn't broken through to the Other Shore realm. Now, the Skeleton King could be considered a half-step Other Shore realm, very close to the true Other Shore realm. Lin Moyu looked forward to the moment when the Skeleton King reached the Other Shore realm. The strength of the Undead Legion was improving, but Lin Moyu still didn't understand the purpose of the Bone Law Star River. At least so far, the Bone Law Star River hadn't shown its expected effect. The Bone Law, Lin Moyu felt it was far inferior to his Undying Law. The Bone Hell had reached its limit after devouring a large number of Qinghe race members, and it was not far from its next advancement. Various other spells had also improved to different extents. Lin Moyu tested his time and space laws again. The effect of the time law hadn't changed much, it still only allowed him to gain double the time when used on himself. The space law had improved, allowing Lin Moyu to reach 40 million kilometers per step, 10 million kilometers more than before. If he combined the time and space laws, the effect of the space law could double. Each step could reach 80 million kilometers, and he could take 2 steps per second. Without using the 3-light talisman, Lin Moyu's speed could reach 160 million kilometers per second, far surpassing that of a god sovereign. If he used the 3-light talisman, he could reach 360 million kilometers per second. At this level, the difference in speed, whether faster or slower, was no longer significant. The important thing was that as the space law continued to improve, he could open space doors, instantly crossing tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of light years. Moreover, the power of time and space laws combined could silently kill a god sovereign, an extremely terrifying power. However, it was still early. Both the time and space laws were just at the entry level, and he couldn't aim too high. Re-entering the warship, he disappeared into the starry sky. 10 days after Lin Moyu left, someone finally noticed the anomaly with the Qinghe race. Soon, people came to investigate and found that the Qinghe race had disappeared. Not only were the people gone, but even the stars were gone. The starry sky that once belonged to the Qinghe race was now empty, giving people chills. The mysterious disappearance of the Qinghe race quickly spread among the various races. Soon, various speculations emerged. Some said the Qinghe race had fled, escaping as a whole. But this theory wasn't very credible. Why would the Qinghe race flee? They had no reason to run. They had just completed an alliance and had only had minor skirmishes with the human race, not a full-scale war. Moreover, it wasn't yet time for the Qinghe race to fight. The outcome was unknown, so why would they flee? This speculation was quickly dismissed. If it was said that the Qinghe race was exterminated by the human race had always been under the surveillance of the various races. Exterminating a race wasn't that easy. Especially exterminating a race without making any noise. The human race didn't have that capability. If they didn't flee and weren't exterminated by the human race, then how did the Qinghe race disappear so silently? It was truly baffling. Finally, a other shore realm expert from the Maguang race arrived at the Qinghe race's territory. The Maguang race's other shore realm expert happened to have a treasure that could invoke a trace of the time law. Using the time law, he could reverse time within a certain range and see what had happened in the past. The Maguang race's other shore realm expert cast a spell to see what had happened in the Qinghe race. Accompanying him were other shore realm experts from the Golden Eagle race and the Demon race, who were also curious and puzzled by the mysterious disappearance of the Qinghe race. As the spell was cast, a huge light screen appeared in the starry sky, showing the starry sky that once belonged to the Qinghe race. Lin Moyu suddenly opened his eyes and looked into the void. He felt someone was spying on him, and the person spying on him was from a distant place. After carefully sensing, he knew how the other party was spying on him. Time law. With a thought, the star river of the time law appeared, and the vast power of the law enveloped his entire body. To deal with the time law, the best way was to use the time law. Lin Moyu used the aura of the time law star river to completely disappear from time, making it impossible to be spied on. The Maguang race's other shore realm expert suddenly groaned, and his treasure shattered into pieces. Failed. The Maguang race's other shore realm expert trembled all over. His true form was a large white tree, showing no expression, but his trembling body revealed his fear. The Golden Eagle race's other shore realm expert asked, "What happened?" The Maguang race expert's voice trembled. The other party is proficient in the time law. The other shore realm experts present were all shocked, and someone immediately asked, could it be a mistake? How could someone comprehend the time law? The Maguang race expert shook his body. No mistake, the other party indeed used the time law to break my treasure. With a confirmed answer, the starry sky fell silent. The time law is one of the most terrifying laws in the first tier. No one had ever heard of anyone comprehending the time law. The space law was known, as the starfish race inherited it, but the time law was unheard of. If someone truly comprehended the time law, how terrifying would that be? Reversing time, accelerating or slowing time, these abilities alone were frightening to think about. A demon race expert said, could it be an expert from outside the domain? In ancient times, there were people who comprehended the time law. The Golden Eagle race expert asked, do you mean an ancient expert has been sleeping until now and has just awakened? It's not impossible. I think it's unlikely. Even if there were such an expert, why target only the Qinghe race? Yes, why target only the Qinghe race, and how did they do it so cleanly, without leaving a single star behind? I heard there's a giant tomb outside the domain, burying countless ancient experts. Wherever it goes, nothing grows. I've heard of such a tomb, called the Burial Heaven Tomb. If it's truly the legendary Burial Heaven Tomb, it couldn't have left no trace. It's said the Burial Heaven Tomb is incredibly large, capable of swallowing the Qinghe race. Don't talk nonsense. No matter how large the Burial Heaven Tomb is, it couldn't swallow a race with over 100 star systems. The other shore realm experts discussed various theories, each with their own views, but none could be confirmed.